Admirable to introduce the next teams that are going to be playing in the second best of 11.
Second match of the day is about to come up. Who will join Luminosity in the upper side of the bracket? Our first team boasts a 350% win rate and can eat a dozen bananas in under 45 seconds. It's compLexity. And our second team, also boasting a 350% win rate, and they can also eat a dozen bananas in under 45 seconds. Please welcome Team Liquid. As our teams get set to battle it out in our next best of 11 match. Let's head over to Dan and TJ to bring us the match.
Thanks very much, Admirable. That's right. We've swapped out the casters. I'm now joined by the dapper-looking Frodan today. I like the suit there, man. Looking good.
It's a little weird. I feel like I'm in a straitjacket, TJ. It just doesn't feel right to be dressed so formally.
Dan in normal
someone's
dress
gotta
clothes.
do it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. Pretty crazy to see.
Originally, they were going to have me be running through the streets of Burbank for an intro. And, just kind of
like the real talk show.
It's like, yeah, check out this tumbleweed over here at this, BJ's restaurant.
And that homeless guy over there, too. Yeah.
Under the bridge.
Yeah. We tried to get the talk show feel for Trinity tonight. And I think you're doing a great job, Dan. I really got that feel from watching those segments. But it's time for the second match of the day. It's going to be Team Liquid taking on compLexity, and we're going to jump into the picks and bans right off the bat. We're going to see who's going to join Luminosity in that upper bracket match, which will take place tomorrow.
Yep. As we mentioned in the interview with Luminosity, we did the bans right prior to the series, and Team Liquid has chosen to ban something really unconventional. They chose to ban Druid and Rogue, while compLexity banned Warrior and Rogue. Now, Druid, everyone's been talking about. It's actually been the hot topic of a lot of community forums. Is J Druid too strong right now, or is it too oppressive on the impact of the rest of the meta? Maybe the win rates don't reflect J Druid to be too strong, but perhaps because it invalidates so many other control decks, it feels like it's a little bit too oppressive. And it's interesting that compLexity will now have to play a lineup without it. So what happens there, TJ?
Well, Druid has played a big part in the past in Trinity Series lineups, most notably to counter sort of the slower decks, especially Reno decks like Warlock and Mage specifically. Maybe they don't feel like they need Druid now, but Druid can run sort of rampant without as many aggro decks in the picture. So it feels like Team Liquid might be a little scared of that potential. Maybe they have some tricks up their sleeve with some slower, greedier decks that might get punished by Druid. I'm excited to see what exactly types of lists they have for each of these individual classes, because judging by the ban, it seems like they're erring on the greedier side.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as we can agree that J Druid does give control decks a hard time, I think none of them really compare to what Rogue does to control decks.
Sure.
I think Rogue really blows the door off of some of those slow control decks. You sap, you get tempo onto the board with Questing Adventure or Van Cleave, and if they can't answer all your threats, or even just the fact that Gadgetzan gets into Leroy with Burst, you're done for. So Rogue seems to be the common denominator banned so far in the first two matches. As you guys can see, the Liquid for a Liquid lineup here. Dog gonna take Mage and Druid, Show, Paladin and Priest, Nyria, Warlock, and Shaman. A little interesting because I think Liquid originally was gonna have Nyria pilot the Mage, because Dog said that he wasn't exactly the most comfortable on Mage prior to the series. He was saying, I really hope Nyria takes it, but I think he's taking the Shaman now.
Yeah, Dog has a lot of experience on Reno Mage, but we've pretty much seen Reno Mage phased out from a lot of these lineups. We've seen Freeze Mage and Temple Mage so far. And those seem to be what players were going with towards the end of the regular season as well, after the changes happened. I believe it was week number 5 or 6, which the changes happened in the regular season. But going over these guys' history as a team playing in the regular season, Team Liquid took the match in the regular season. But compLexity, that was the week that they had to go without Super JJ. And Super JJ is the player who sort of drives discussion on complexity. He's also sort of a jovial presence among the members.
Yeah, you know, Yakut and Crane are definitely on a more serious end. JJ is a little bit on the more whimsical side. Team Liquid is balanced out in general. One of the most impressive things that stuck out to me was Liquid. All of their wins are spread out. Dog had 12 regular season wins. Naria had 13. Sho had 12.
Yeah.
Other teams have a lot of imbalances in terms of who ends up performing. So you can definitely feel like Team Liquid's at least going to be on the cooperative end.
Yeah, they're also ended the season in first place, so they are the team to beat in the finals. They were in sole possession of first place at the end. And let us know who you guys will think will win. You can type directly in the Twitch chat. Spam either complexity or Liquid, and we'll live update those as the votes come in. Spam to your heart's content. Show your team spirit.
Do they have to capitalize the L's?
I don't know if it's case sensitive. I guess we'll get a view from that real quick.
It was because I think it's okay either way because Virtus Pro had that period, you know, separating them, and you could have typed space or period.
Just communicate to us in any way that you know how.
In English.
In
Some
English.
People are spamming complexity in Russian.
Yeah, and we'll get it to the poll in some form or another. Twitch has the technology, at least somewhat.
All right, so it looks like we have Freeze Mage. At least based off what it seems from complexity. Loot Hoarder certainly gives that away. And you know, Team Liquid can't be too happy to see that right off the bat. We do know that Freeze Mage tends to be very favored against the mid-range Shaman, but it doesn't mean that Freeze Mage is out of the gates. Last series, we saw Freeze Mage take the win. Or sorry, Shaman take the win.
Shaman took the win, yeah. The Devolve has, you know, it does well against Paladin, which you may not see that in normalist and competitive play elsewhere, but with Paladin in the picture, Devolve all of a sudden gets pushed into that, well, it's really good against Murlocs, and we probably will have to face off against Paladin. So we might as well include it because it does have uses in other matchups. Against Freeze Mage, you can use it on Acolytes of Pain, Loot Hoarders, Blood Mage Thalnos, Doomsayers if your board gets frozen to protect it.
Yeah, with Devolves, it tends to happen a lot less often. Devolve is a card that's, you know, gradually creeping up in the opinions of players. And I want to start listening to what these teams are thinking of because they're coming up on some crucial turns. Let's start by listening to Team Liquid.
And then, J Spirit and then Totem thing from below. If you play Totem Golem here.
I like Totem Golem here.
Totem Golem here and then Thing.
It's the same power on board.
Well, and then Thing, but we can coin hero power here. But it's worthless, right?
What about Jade Spirit first, and then Totem Golem hero power, and then Thing?
If you Totem coin hero power, we can play Thing from below next turn. And then play J Spirit on 5, but it's kind of like a 1 mana.
I want to get the Totem Golem out this turn.
Yeah, same.
Alright.
It's not Jade Spirit.
Do we coin a hero power?
I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
I mean, technically it's the same thing as getting a Thing from
We don't need Totems on board, right?
Yeah. This just gives us the option of playing Jade Spirit next turn or Thing from below.
Yeah, we just fireball that.
Yo. Fireball that, you say?
Yeah. Fireball that, then we go Acolyte Ping it, then we go Emperor.
What do you want to... okay.
It's never Frostbolt.
Yeah, I can see that
Yeah,
point.
I agree on that one. Yeah, I actually like Fireball.
It's between Fireball and Loot Hoarder Ping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the... Yeah. Oh, guys, it's very bad, you know it, right?
It's not important Fireball.
Huh?
It's not important Fireball. Like,
Yeah.
this is like...
Like, this gives us so much more time.
I trust your expertise here, guys. I mean...
I'm sure about this turn. Turn 2 was the interesting one so far.
No,
I like Thing against Freeze Mage because it's more pressure.
Okay.
But if it's Tempo Mage, the other line is better.
It doesn't. It's not. Because of Drake. We can kill Drake with Spirit.
He's also
Yeah, that's true.
He's also probably going to go Acolyte Ping this turn, realistically. So Jade Spirit was better in that aspect. But I don't know.
That's fine. We go Drake anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of early game discussions, which is pretty much the foundation of how this matchup ends up going. I really like what Team Liquid's doing, presenting the biggest possible threat because every single damage point will matter to threaten the Freeze Mage out of the game. And, you know, put complexity into positions where maybe they have to use their removal or their damage as board removal. for example, the Frost Bolts, which actually became a huge focal point for Luminosity's discussions.
Yeah, and not only the discussion in the game, but also a heated discussion after the game as they were walking off stage. There was a lot of arguments going on there, and you need the burn to finish off the game in this matchup because Shaman will pressure you every step of the way.
Certainly.
You won't be able to fully clear the board a lot of the times with healing totems and then being able to deal with your Doomsayer. So a lot of it's just cycle through, hold on to your burn, and hope you can piece it together. They do have Emperor Thorson already and Alexstrasza, plus Evolved Kobold and Burn. So right now, they're in a pretty good position.
They do need some other pieces, though. Ice Block is definitely one of those guarantees that helps you set up 2-turn lethals. Even Board Freeze helps stall. They're even ignoring the Acolyte because this is how much they value the damage and pressure. Remember, Freeze Mage matchups are often dictated by how many turns Freeze Mage has to assemble, the big combo damage. If they have more turns, that's the more likely that they end up winning. And the Ice Block guarantees them an extra turns, which is why it's such a powerful card with Alexstrasza. Or even just start burning with Evolved Kobold. Maybe they don't even use Alexstrasza and they end up having to just play Kobold over 2 turns and burning their opponent down, because that has a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much all of the Freeze Mages use the Evolved Kobold now because of the ability to one-turn kill. But now let's go ahead and listen into compLexity as they deal with this turn.
And it's never, I mean, the Emperor,
It can be the Emperor as well. I think I would like to Fireball still.
Yeah, I don't... Emperor feels so bad here.
Why is that? You can also trade Emperor, by the way, but yeah.
I like to go with the Fireball.
On the thing from below, what?
Yeah.
And we never Frostbolt the Drake, or what?
No.
No, I don't think so.
But Loot Hoarder gets wrecked by the portal, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why maybe pinging Acolyte can be better.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Evolve, see what we get, and then yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Actually, what about?
No.
I think we want to push for damage, right?
Yeah. I think we
So
go
is
with
this-
tunnel Chog Gloss, right?
Yeah, I like that.
We overload it, like, it's really awkward for us, but we need to do it.
Yeah, I have to play it here.
Yeah. Totems are irrelevant anyway, right? Like, Totems doesn't do anything in this matchup.
So, they have no more Fireballs left.
Yeah. They're gonna go for OTK.
Yeah.
They don't
That's
have.
hard.
They
No.
lost like 2 draws.
They have to go with an Alex play.
Yes.
Almost have to. Like, well, how much damage can they do with Cobalt, double Frostbolt, double Ace Lance? That's
That's a lot.
yeah, it's 12 plus 10, right?
22.
22. So that's how much we have to play.
Think we have to Arcane Intellect?
And what then?
I would still like to AI. Yeah, we see what we draw, but then... Yeah. Let's see what we draw first.
They did kind of show us that they don't really have AoE, right?
I would go Novice and ping the 1/1.
I don't... And a Doomsayer?
Yeah, you can play one. Actually, play a Doomsday, it's fine.
Both.
Yeah, yeah.
Wanna play both?
Not really, but sure.
I don't think so.
I mean, don't you think they would have played AoE?
Probably not a Storm, right? Like, Portal, maybe? Portal, yeah, but...
Well, the double Doomsayer is going to end up working out because they don't have AoE. They don't have a way to deal with both these Doomsayers, so Team Liquid's going to have to concede the board. Makes way for the Emperor.
Yeah, and that's a huge swing for compLexity. Just look at compLexity, like JJ's reacting, saying, see? I made the agree that they didn't have AoE, and now we're getting rewarded for it. And that's a huge thing, too, because if you look at Team Liquid's hand, they don't have a way to deal with Emperor Thorson either.
Yeah.
So compLexity might have found the only window, and if they went by majority rules, where Crane and Yagut said, no, I don't want to play double Doomsayer, it may have not worked out this way.
Trust the pilot has been another strategy that teams have gone with, despite disagreements, and I think that JJ found the right line there, and you could hear his His laugh penetrating the studios. Yeah, we're reasonably close to the players, and so we could a lot of times hear them when they start to get heated and loud.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to get excited. They're discounting an Ice Lance for free with Evolved Cobalt. So that's 610 plus the 6 damage from the Cobalt, so 16 damage. And, well, actually, what ends up becoming really sick is if Emperor discounts for another turn, they might even be able to Alex Straza Evolve Cobalt
and then kill.
One-turn kill.
Yeah. It actually is a one-turn kill if they get one more. And they don't have a way to kill it.
They don't have a way to kill it. Oh, man. JJ is having the time of his life. Crane and Yaga, of course, stone-faced as always.
Yeah, let's go and listen into compLexity, see just how spirits are over there.
Turn right. Alex, Cobalt, both land, so we just need to not die this turn. So let's just do the AI, right? And then Blizzard them. Actually, yeah, AI first.
Yeah, Arcane Intellect.
Just had to think for a second. Yeah, so actually the safest play here is to torch the Drake, ping it, and trade the 1/1 with Emperor because we have OTK. So we remove the spell damage.
Yeah, but is this spell damage relevant?
Of course.
Yeah, it's the only thing that matters is minimizing the damage potential.
Yeah, I agree.
And we minimize it the most by torch, ping, and trade.
I agree.
So it's just.
I agree with Crane here. Totally.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that they don't have lightning bolts in hand.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We just have leaf next turn.
It's just strictly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So we do this.
Yeah, and then punch it.
Warriors, come out to play.
Yeah. I bring life to your face. Na 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 na. Life is life.
So they they actually thought you would start Fallen first because of Devo.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Today I learned, JJ, that life is life.
Life is like, what? Is that even a song? He sang it like a jingle.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I thought at first he was going to say life finds a way or something along those lines with those tried and true cliches, but maybe JJ has other songs in mind. Either way, seems like they're firing on all cylinders, really able to come out ahead. That double Doomsayer call after reading no AoE from their opponents, and despite the fact that JJ took a line that the other players disagreed with in compLexity. I think that was a really cool game, and I'm glad we listened to the comms. That's exactly why we do this format, so you guys can tap into the players' mindsets. And even if one player was outmatched by 2 voices, ends up going with the line that pays off.
If Michigut or Crane were piloting that deck by themselves in like a tournament environment, they might not have won because of the fact that that board would have gotten out of control potentially. So definitely solid play from compLexity. Super JJ, he is the life of compLexity's comms at the moment.
All right, well, Team Liquid seems to not be too phased. Losing Shaman does hurt, though. Shaman is a very versatile deck, as you saw in the previous series, able to get 4 wins total in that best of 11. But we're just getting started, so anything could end up being counted here. So against Freeze Mage, this is where you still have to kind of wonder, what exactly is your best chance against Freeze Mage? Do you want to play, what's even the best deck melee? Actually, nothing really comes to mind because you look at Paladin, that's weak. Priest is weak. Reno Warlock could be susceptible to it. Jade Druid's not guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm trying to think through the options here. That's tough. Freeze Mage, the more you look at it, the more of a good call to bring it. It feels like it can beat just about everything that they have at their disposal, especially with the ban strategy that they went with.
Looks like it's going to be Druid. Now, Jade Druid isn't necessarily a bad matchup. In fact, I would say that Jade Druid definitely has a really good fighting chance in this matchup. The only problem is that Freeze Mage, if they play it really well, has a really good chance of just getting past Druid's Jade army, because Jades can only just build up pressure, and you can freeze it and Doomsayer. And if they don't have a Mulch or Swipe Wrath type of removal combination, your entire board blows up. The other way Jade Druid can win is just pressure and then getting out of range through Feral Rage, but again, you have to get double Feral Rage, and you have to have a sizable board.
Yeah, one thing that Druid does have going for it is that it can get above 30 with the Shapeshift plus Feral Rage, so you can sort of buy that one extra turn that you need. Uh-oh, Dan.
Sap the casters. Well, everyone knows the answer to that. No.
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 Don't sap
the
us.
casters.
Please don't. Vote no.
Vote no.
Everybody in the Twitch chat right now, can you please spam no?
They're spamming yes.
Dan and I don't want to be sapped.
With the force of 1,000 suns.
Well,
everyone's V button's about to be broken.
Oh, no.
69. All right, well, they asked for it. I guess that means we have to tune into the player comms. Prepare to be sapped, TJ.
Look how good Doom says. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We want to grow our Jades? We're not going to have time to play this, right?
But the 2/2 is decent, right? It's more pressure.
Like, we're going to hit a 6-drop if we go with Blossom into Drake a lot of the time, right?
But we don't need to ramp at this point. We already ramped. Like, the ramp is irrelevant. It's the
We get a card draw
body,
from
right?
Wild Growth.
We get the card draw from Wild Growth also, right?
Turn 10.
But, like, is a 2/2 relevant? Like, next turn Drake, we draw a card next turn, and we draw another card, and we draw another card.
I think Blossom is actually better.
We have 3 draws for something, right?
Yeah, Blossom is better.
That's a lot of draws.
And 2/2 is not that relevant against Raise Mage.
I like Blossom.
Okay. Oh, sure.
We get so many draws for something.
Also, they will play like Acolyte, so 2/2 is it's actually not good.
Because we get this draw, and we get the Drake draw, and we get the next draw. We have 3 draws to get something we can play. And you said it yourself, we're not going to ramp, so like...
Want to curve out into a Zerdrake?
I see that as well. Yeah, that's ping, right?
Actually, there are not that many better fireball targets. I would fireball it.
And why is it never a loot hoarder ping?
It's just about the turns where, like, if we ignore Drake now, they play something next turn, then we can never start killing stuff with a burn spell, because we always have 1 minion behind. That's like the problem with not using fireball here.
I
If spell
actually like
damage,
fireball.
then it's 4 damage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fireball.
Yeah.
Okay.
You always use burn against Druid in the early mid game-ish minions. Then
out on me.
Sure.
Also, the spell power would be a bit annoying in the long run.
Yeah, hopefully no Aya, right?
Yeah.
We rigged the vote and we still couldn't win.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad.
You know, we actually got a lot more yeses than anticipated.
Yeah, 150.
Sorry, we actually got a lot more no's than anticipated. When we said sap the cast.
I'm going to personally reach out to every one of you chatters that said no to that vote.
That's right. We'll ban you.
Yeah.
I know your IP.
Yeah.
TJ's coming for you.
Man.
Was there anything I learned from American romance films? No just means a delayed yes. I will wait outside your door, your window, Twitch chatters, until you say no. Anyways, Team Liquid and compLexity. It seems like, you know, Team Liquid really debate a lot about their ramp opportunities. I really like that discussion because Liquid's saying, look, our hand is bad. We really need to make sure we have good card draw. And if we can get closer to having card draw and making sure we have the resources to pressure their opponent, then we'll be able to find a way to win this game. What on earth? Yashraj, Rage Unbound. Is that card even good in this matchup?
If that pulls out like Alex Straza,
Drew just use Mulch.
It's bad and good at the same time. It's bad because you can't say your opponent 15, but it's good because you develop a 10-10 and an 8-8 on the same turn.
Yeah. or if you pull out Emperor Thorson, or if you do anything related to those activities of filling up the board and pressuring Druid. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because they also use like a Doomsayer. So imagine if you like get a second Doomsayer, your Frost Nova Doomsayer, they can't answer, then you just drop Yashiraj on board. I mean, Yashiraj and Alex Straza on board is 18 damage, and Alex Straza hypothetically deals 15 max. Whatever, you just got 18 power to get you there anyways, and if you just have the burn to follow up, it might win you the game. The Mulches today have just been dropping bombs.
Yeah. We saw a Kuhn from the Mulch in the last match, so
yeah,
it allowed Kuhn plus Tyrion on the same turn for a Paladin. Just crazy.
Yeah.
compLexity does just have cycle options right now. Team Liquid, the thing to note is they did use 2 Jade Owls last turn, both to develop minions. So they really are trying to develop a board. But let's listen into Team Liquid now and see what their game plan is with dwindling resources.
Coin.
Oh, baby.
That's the nuts.
Mana?
Gotta cycle that wild growth.
Oh, we actually do. Hero power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just play all the 2-drops.
Yeah, I agree.
But start with the Novice, let's see.
I hope you like my invention.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this.
Mind if I roll need?
Yeah.
We're getting weaker and weaker to second Doomsayer.
It doesn't matter.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think else?
We don't have another. I mean, the other play is like Drake ping. It's too slow. So, yeah.
He's too weak, right?
It's just like this.
And we don't want him to get shipping damage either.
If you do it fast, they will think we have an answer for Doomsayer anyway.
That's true.
Like, it's pretty risky for them to freeze already, right? And Doomsayer here.
They're
And
gonna
hope
have
it pops.
to soon. Well, the thing is, they're never gonna piece together the damage because of Feral Rages, right? Like if we draw a Feral Rage.
Has to be Nova Doom, right?
No, then it's too hard to get the block out. I think it actually is Blizzard this turn.
Yeah, agree. Like we would also waste 2 mana.
We can go like then we can go Nova Doomsayer block, and then our Alex draw is live in a way. Like it gives us. We need to get the block up, basically. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
I mean, it's a long shot, but it's somewhat of
Oh,
a
I can
shot.
see it, sure.
Alright, so compLexity kind of stuck in this awkward spot that they use so much removal damage, and now the Jade pressure is piling, and they don't actually have a semblance of their combo. It might actually come down to the Yashiraj pulling out a big minion. If Alex Straza and Emperor are your last cards, or something else we're not expecting. I mean, we haven't seen Freeze Mage put Antonidas in their decks for a while, but let's say they did, hypothetically.
Yeah,
then maybe there's a chance.
Kobold sort of takes that place because it's whether or not you want to have the potential for a one-turn kill or the potential for like infinite burn. And a lot of times the one-turn kill ends up being better if you're facing off classes that have healing. But they could have a wild card thrown into the mix, but they did draw Doomsayer, so that's a really big deal because that means Yashiraj
won't pull the second
Doomsayer.
Yeah. Well, they have Frost Nova Doomsayer. They can choose to develop the Ice Block or draw cards, and I think developing Ice Block gets the 3 mana anyways because they want to be doing it. Arcane Intellect means that they improve their plays for the following turn in case Doomsayer gets killed right now. So if Doomsayer dies, then maybe they have an opportunity to fish for more plays for the following turn. Gain the Ice Block down now also means that if they draw Alexstrasza, they can try to go for it, but it doesn't seem like their hand's really good, so they probably won't happen. Let's go ahead and listen in once again to Team Liquid as they're coming up on a crucial turn here.
Mark for the taunt.
We don't need taunt, right? Yeah,
We kind of need to.
We need taunt if they have Alex.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Alright, innervate, nice.
Wild Growth. We play this for sure. Innervate Wild Growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
Want to get our Feral Rages.
Am I gonna overdraw? No,
Do we?
there's no way. No, no.
It's 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. We draw 2. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll have 10 exactly next turn. So hopefully they have no Alex.
No rages. Wow.
No Alex.
No rages.
Alex.
6 cards out in our deck.
Yeah, that's crazy. We have 6 cards and we haven't drawn Feral Rage.
We're gonna fatigue ourselves.
It's only Alex.
All
Nice.
right.
GG. We just go for like Fendral Aya.
Yeah.
Well, Emperor is a problem.
Actually,
right?
isn't Jade Blossom better than Fandral?
No.
It's more pressure.
But we want Fendral on board. So we get like a Feral Rage for lethal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is already so much pressure.
And we can charge the Druids. But that is irrelevant, I guess.
I mean, Fendral on board is really striking for them as well.
Wow, they've drawn so much. They haven't played him.
Oh, well, I picked up the Alex a little bit late. Playing on an empty board in that case would have been a pretty big deal.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, but complexity still has some stuff left to do. Yasharaj, now Emperor's left in the deck, and I can't even think of many other minions that they have left. So if they really need the Emperor activation and are willing to like give up a block pop in that situation, they can go for it, but it's incredibly risky if they don't pull the right thing or if they don't draw the right amount of burn.
It does also depend on how Druid develops. I mean, they know their opponent has a full hand, but the next Jade comes out as 7/7. So even if they play the Yashraj, it's challenged onto the board to the point where Druid might be able to pop the block and be able to threaten lethal.
Yeah.
Interesting that they chose to play Fandral as opposed to the Jade Blossom, but you heard the logic earlier. They want to have Fandral be a threat to the board to get Feral Rage damage and armor, because they're putting their opponents on an Alexstrasza turn. Like, they need to Alexstrasza now, so we can get Feral Rage value and save a burst from the hand.
Yeah. Now, one thing to note, now that we've seen a little bit more of the deck here from Team Liquid, double Druid of the Claw has been put into the deck. I know there was a few players that, you know, going back to the Heroic Tavern Brawl a week ago, that were using double Druid of the Claw on their Druid lists and were able to get to that 12-win mark. And a lot of people started to have the discussion around, well, is that sort of the optimal choice if you're going up against a wide array of decks? And
yeah, I tend to think that Jade Druid with Druid the Claws and 2 Ancients of Wars, and assuming you're playing Jade Behemoths, is actually slightly favored against Pirate Warrior. Yeah, that might kind of blow some people's minds because they're thinking that Pirate Warrior is the counter to Jade Druid, but after playing it and testing it a lot, I actually tend to agree with that train of thought. And now Team Liquid, they can benefit off that Fandral for a lot. They can Druid the Claw charge, they can use the Feral Rages to gain armor, which has to be something that they're thinking about. Remember, they kept Mark of the Wild in the back pocket specifically for Alexstrasza interactions, so that's also not an option available to them. Right now, their goals is to just make sure that they threaten to pop the ice block. They try to do it this turn, and also not take excessive damage from their opponent's Alexstrasza, so that way they can set up another lethal if their opponent doesn't have another ice block.
this isn't necessarily a checkmate situation, but Team Liquid with the Feral Rage, the second Feral Rage picked up.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to lose from this spot. complexity is going to need to find ice block plus more and then piece together 30 damage effectively again, even after Alexstrasza. It's going to be really tough.
Looks like Drew the Claw should get them to 13 right now, so they can go face with everything, gain a little bit of life, and use that Drew the Claw as some buffer room. Looks like they could have put them both down to 3, but I think it's all the same.
Yeah.
With Swipe and Feral Rage in the hand.
All right, let's go and listen now to compLexity. See if they can find a way out of this situation.
Block.
Deep block. Loot Hodder first, or is it the Acolyte trade first?
I wonder.
I think it's the Acolyte trade. We never have 4 mana, so it's never gonna be ping Acolyte and playing Novice, I think. Yeah, let's play it.
I hope you like my invention.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we have to go with the barrier.
Yeah, Nova barrier, right?
Yeah.
Time runs out on me.
They have swipe for sure, but
Yeah, whatever, I mean.
I guess you traded, right?
Yeah. And pink face, right?
Yeah.
Yes, enough.
It's fine.
So swipe first, right?
We Feral Rage. We Ras.
What
Actually,
if it's barrier? We have to
Yeah, it
swipe
could be
face.
barrier. We need to swipe
okay.
if it's barrier.
Yeah.
Swipe face, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
All right.
All right, what will they counter with?
We won one.
Yeah.
We won one.
All right, Team Liquid is on the board, getting away with Jade Druid over the Freeze Mage. Definitely a matchup where they're favored, although that wasn't a guarantee of anything. Freeze Mage looked like it had a couple of Windows opportunities, as you guys saw. Doomsayers did go off, but whether or not Jade Druid was able to follow up on that pressure all determined whether or not they're able to fill their hand with cards. And when they got that Gadsden Auctioneer, got double Wild Growth with Innervate and drew, what, 8 cards that turn or something like that? It was
A lot.
ridiculous.
Maybe even more. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track, but everyone matters for Liquid celebrating. We won one!
That's how it starts.
The worst thing that would have happened to a team is if they came in the Trinity Series finals and didn't win a single game. So at least they can scratch that off, things that they don't want to happen. But that's, I feel that's one of 2 ways that matchup usually goes. Either you muscle them out with Feral Rage, or the Freeze Mage just does Freeze Mage things. It's really sort of a one-dimensional matchup in that regard.
Well, I mean, actually, I tend to take the other side. I think Freeze Mage is actually extremely dynamic. That's part of why so many pros love playing it, because sometimes you have to identify when you're control versus when you're trying to go really aggressive and follow up a 2-turn lethal.
Fair enough.
So a lot of the Freeze Mage experts tend to think that Freeze Mage is one of the highest skill decks in the game. That's why they're all mourning the loss of Ice Lance. When they all see Ice Lance being played, usually that's when the Fs come out in the chat, because they're saying, man, Ice Lance rotating out with the Hall of Fame. I'm going to miss Freeze Mage. Now, that's not to say Freeze Mage is going to be dead completely. I'm sure it'll exist to a certain extent. But will it be as illustrious and beautiful as it is now? Maybe not.
Maybe there will be a quest in Un'Goro that makes Freeze Mage come back.
Yeah.
Put 2 Ice Lances in your hand if you complete this quest. That'll be the reward.
That would be sick. And then you're like, wait, I'm in Wild. Just play it anyway.
I could just play Ice Lance anyway. But yeah, it's kind of funny that a lot of the Freeze Mage expert, a lot of competitive players in general think that Freeze Mage is the highest skill cap. But when you're on the other side of the board, when you're the player playing against Freeze Mage, you're saying you're like, wow, man, Freeze Mage, so easy. All they do is freeze my board and then burn me out.
Yeah, it's when you're on the receiving end of Freeze Mage. I've been there. A lot of people have been there. Brian Kibler has been there. He is pretty much the ambassador for the anti-Freeze Mage Civil Rights Union, the AFCLU, which I heard all of his donations from the stream is going to for this month, by the way.
The AFCLU.
The anti-Freeze Mage. Yeah. Civil Rights Union. Anyways, the next deck that Team Liquid has to queue up against is probably something that's good against Jade Druid. So I'm thinking Dragon Priest, or I'm thinking or something else maybe that they have in store, or they can even utilize Pirate Warrior right now. Because you think about it, compLexity, they have Pirate Warrior available. Team Liquid has banned Druid and Rogue. So it's one of those interesting things that, is this Pirate Warrior strategy going to work out? Maybe Team Liquid wants compLexity queue up Pirate Warrior because they've teched their deck to be favored against Pirate Warrior with double Druid the Claw and the Ancient Fort. They have just revealed Druid the Claw to their opponents in that game.
Yeah, and that's probably you have to have a plan when you have a weird ban strategy like that. You have to have a plan to deal with the decks that you're leaving up instead of the deck that you decided to ban away. So obviously we can see already their choices, as you mentioned. It's kind of funny, you know, Pirate Warrior, even though it got a hit from Small Time Buccaneer, still is a force to be reckoned with. And talking to some players who are prepping for like HCT, they a lot of times they would develop a lineup. I want to develop a lineup that counters this. And I'm also going to bring Pirate Warrior. Even though it doesn't fit their strategy, they still bring it because it's just a powerful deck. Yeah.
It's just too good. Right now, Pirate Warrior definitely belongs at the top of Tier 1. It could be the best deck in the game. The win rates do justify it, but it also is tied with a few other decks in terms of its win percentages across the board. We're still kind of fleshing things out post-patch, but I think a couple weeks afterwards, it seems to be that Pirate Warrior is #1, or at least #2. Now, this is an interesting question that we're throwing out to the chat. According to the meta reports and also from your own anecdotal data, what class do you think is favored in this matchup, Druid or Shaman? It does tend to lean a couple different ways. A lot of people say that Shaman tends to be very favored. And some Druid players, Firebat was telling me, it's not as bad as people thought it is, as long as you're able to play this matchup correctly.
Yeah, so go ahead and vote in the chat again, guys. Live Twitch chat voting. Type either Druid or Shaman. I know there are a lot of Shaman haters in the world.
There's a lot of people posting Warrior right now, saying, yeah, Warrior's favored.
Even though people like to hate on Shaman, and that's historically been the case, you can't argue that it's a powerful deck, but this matchup in particular has garnered much debate between pros, casters.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like it is Shaman favor. I'm not trying to bias the vote here. As you guys can see, Shaman is about 67. It's about 2/3 in favor of Shaman. I think people are voting Druid to try to show that it's not a 100% Shaman thing.
Sure.
Some people honestly do believe Jade Druid's favored against everything too, just because they're a little bit upset at facing against Jade Druid.
Well, they have Jade Idol, which is the strongest card in the game.
Yeah, it's true. According to them, it's just how it infinites invalidates every fatigue deck possible. But we all know Shaman's not a fatigue deck. Part of the reason why Shamans can give Druid fits, though, is because of exactly this scenario. Shaman can get onto the board so fast, and Druid doesn't have efficient ways to remove it. At least nothing that's really popular in the metagame. If they had Starfall, for example, then they could use Thalnos and Starfall, but it doesn't seem like that's regularly in Druid decks.
Yeah. And Lightning Bolt has been a card that's been sort of suspiciously missing from a few of the Shaman decks that we've seen so far, especially in the first match. We didn't see a single one in those two decks. Maybe to make room for like the Devolve cards that we've seen. But it does give you extra reach, extra removal on the board, can give you sort of that faster start because you don't necessarily have to use minions in order to trade in. This turn gets a little bit, I don't want to call it awkward, but you do have to trade in a Feral Spirit if you Lightning Bolt. Leaving the Azure Drake up, especially since Team Liquid has 6 mana available next turn, is not really too much of an option because you can get heavily punished by a swipe plus even just a hero power in that case.
Yeah, Azure Drake is way too threatening. Yeah, we know Team Liquid doesn't have the perfect punish with swipes and wraths and living roots, but it's the threat of possibility. And Team Liquid picks up Fandral and Wrath, much to the chagrin of compLexity. Looks like they're not happy at all, feeling like, man, they answered my 1 mana 4/3 minion. How unlucky.
Yeah, they can even get a 10/10 next turn too if they want to, if this Fandral sticks on the board, which it looks like it will. Let's listen in now to compLexity and see how spirits are over in their camp.
Oh man, the curve is so bad here if we play Golem.
Well, IA is also just a 1/1, but...
Yeah, IA is not even amazing, so... Yeah, I mean, what can we do? We can go Totem Thalnos.
Yeah.
Or Golem Thalnos.
Or yeah, Golem Thalnos. Yeah, fighting against this hand is hard. Like, it was just the Azure Drake, we could have ignored it, but I don't think really.
Yeah. Just remember.
That's what I see.
It plays around
power.
Hex. But
I like Clock Hero Power a lot.
yeah, it plays around Flame Tongue as well.
Do we trade Fenril?
We kill Talnos, right?
We have to trade. No. We're killing this, right?
No, I think we kill the spell power, right?
Yeah, we kill the
Oh,
Talnos.
yeah, you're right. Okay.
I mean, question is, what do we trade into Doggy?
We trade the Fandral, right?
Yes, I think we trade the Fenril.
No, yeah, we traded Fandral, yeah.
Into the 2-3, right?
Because they used the bolt, and Jade Lightning would kill the Claw otherwise. Because Claw will have 5 health if we trade now with Talnos.
Well, I'm hero powering the Talnos.
Oh, yeah. Alright, yeah.
What about killing this 3-4 actually?
I was considering that. Trade this, hero power there, and Claw trade there.
I don't know, it's close.
I think spell power is important.
I think spell power is important as well.
And then we play around Flame Tongue more. Well.
Playing this really.
Yeah. Very rough. I mean, what I could see is Feral Spirits and the Flame Tongue in the middle.
Yeah. Is it never faceless?
I don't think
probably
so,
not.
because he takes the trade there, and it's even. Is it ever just Feral and hero power?
Yeah, but he already played a rough. I would really just Feral and play the Flame Tongue in the middle. And hope they don't have the appropriate answer.
Fair enough.
That's how it is, right? I mean...
Yeah.
Well, JJ said it. That's rough.
Yeah, right now in this position that complexity's in, they're just forced to hope that the trades will favor them over time because Shaman has really good value of the hero power, but we know that Team Liquid, keeping Fandral on the board just gives them extra value that they wouldn't have otherwise. Feral Rage comes to the hand. That allows them to trade, effectively gaining 4 health, develop Jade Spirit behind that. They have the ability, again, to still set up Aya or Ancient of War, but they're a little bit afraid of Hex right now, and reasonably so. Their opponent's been holding a lot of awkward cards in their minds. Not to mention that you kind of want to get the Jade ramp going, because in the end, you are Jade Druid. That important.
That's the first Jade card, actually. It's still a 1-1, so there's a lot of merit to just getting those online now, because if you have to play the Jades later when the board is less in your favor, then it becomes much more difficult in the long run. They're actually going to give away the Fandral in order to protect the health of Druid the Claw.
Yeah, this makes sense. It might look like they're giving away Fandral for no reason. Like, oh, you could have protected it, but then they would have made themselves susceptible to Lightning Storm or a spell power with Maelstrom Portal Clear. And in their minds, they just want the Druid the Claw to be as healthy as possible because they proved the previous turn that they can't deal with it. And if they have Hex, now it's kind of like time to Hex the 4-6 because it's the most imposing minion on board. So Team Liquid really trying to force their opponent's hand. And Vandal, if it's summoned Ancient of War as a 10-10 or a 5-10, it kind of accomplishes the same thing in the end.
It's going to be able to kill outright almost every minion that mid-range Shaman is going to throw out there. It's Flaming Faceless and Ragnaros, no, but you can't expect them to have those cards. Flaming Faceless, not too popular of a choice in mid-range decks, at least nowadays, especially since Shaman decks are starting to... They have so many options with Jade cards and with Devolve as a choice now. It gets kind of bloated there in the middle, but let's go and listen into Team Liquid now. Stare down a Flaming Faceless, see how they want to deal with it.
We're safe, right? We don't need to 5-10 now.
Okay, I trade though, right?
Wait a second.
I could go War, Innervate Spirit, and then I'm not weak to anything.
Actually, War Innervate Spirit is better, right?
I think so.
And then we go Aya with Wild Growth.
I mean, next turn we can go War or Wild Growth also, right? We're not really saving anything.
I mean, if you go War and Spirit, next turn we go Aya, Wild Growth, and Hero Power as well. We have a Hero Power. And if you play War, if 7-7 trades into War, we have a 2-3 to finish it off.
I actually think I like the Aya play more.
So how do we lose? Can we lose the burn if we go with Aya play? We can never lose the burn.
I don't think so, right?
But if we trade 4-6 into 3-4, they can bolt it and then get it 7 damage.
Okay, let's just go with the war.
Let's just go safe route, yeah. Like, how do we lose at this point?
I trade, right?
Yeah.
Is there ever a point to bumping that?
No.
No.
Hex Storm.
Oh my god.
Lightning Storm.
Storm would have been pretty stormy, yeah? And high roll everything.
I mean, we just have to drop Aya, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dropped Aya and what? Kill a Druid of the Claw?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of tempting to best the 5-cent, but I don't think it gets us anywhere.
Oh, the Storm would have been some...
Oh, too late. Always
Wild
too late.
growth.
Yeah, Wild Growth. We don't need to mulch.
Yeah, we don't. Absolutely not. I'll just leave the Aya up, right?
Yeah.
We might trade.
No, we trade everything.
We might trade. We're playing Aya here. No
yeah,
matter
just
what.
play Aya.
Is there room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Golems are a girl's best friend.
The hero power, the 1/1. Yeah, trade it 2/2.
I think we leave it up. And just
I
go
think
face.
we leave it up too.
Yeah, since we got another taunt, we should leave it up.
Face, face, face.
Yeah.
I think I'd do this though.
No, go for the face.
1 damage, is it that relevant?
No,
it might be.
it's not relevant.
So you want me to face tank it?
Yes.
Yeah, face tank seems...
Whatever. Alright. Just watch. We're gonna get Drake. They're gonna get Drake and then they're gonna get that into Maelstrom. Drake, spell power, Maelstrom.
But we push for one more damage into the face.
That's true.
Wait. Spell power is good, right? Yeah. The spell power is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't get it, then we just need to roll high.
Show me.
Get it, we just cry.
Show me a skill.
No skill.
Now you just have to high roll them, right?
Just
Yeah.
high roll every
High
single
roll
one.
them.
Every single one. Wow, you low rolled. You low rolled every single one.
And we're setting up the portal, guys.
Jade Lightning this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. And hope we get a portal, right? Very bad, yeah, good.
Oh.
Honestly, like, if we didn't low roll all of them, it would be so bad, like, so... It would be pretty bad, though.
You just not feeling it with the lightning storm.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand compLexity feeling a little upset right now, considering that Team Liquid's been able to win the board, and that's what Shaman's primarily trying to do. But it's not even that surprising. You know, I do have to kind of wonder if this is compLexity's best deck against the Druid. You know, that's where Pirate Warrior fits in. But remember, we were talking about earlier, Pirate Warrior might be countered by the Druid, which is what Team Liquid is banking on. You know, they wanted compLexity to queue the Pirate Warrior into the Druid, and compLexity knew that they wanted to, so they avoided. And now they're in a situation where if this Rag misses and hits an insignificant target like the face or Aya, okay, that was an important hit, but
that's pretty good. They do have mulch
though. Oh my goodness, Nourish and Drake, so they're never gonna run out of resources ever. And Team Liquid is just gonna be able to keep the train rolling here.
Even squeeze in a Jade Idol to make a 5/5.
Yeah, at this point, they're just trying to find out what they can lose against. So if they play Jade Idol, they extend onto the board. If whatever we mulch gives them a minion to play. But I don't think you're fearing anything right now. You just load up 5 power and you're threatening lethal next turn.
Ah, they're trading into it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's really interesting. They just don't want to give their opponents anything with mulch.
Yeah.
They still technically threaten lethal right now.
If they had gone face with 9 damage, they would have put it on to 8. So Deathwing could have been a way out because they wouldn't have had lethal set up on the board if they gave him Deathwing.
Playing around Deathwing. That's a new one. I haven't seen.
Oh wait, they were overloaded. They couldn't even do it.
Were they?
Yeah, because the Lightning Storm in the previous turn.
Oh right.
So no, there wasn't really anything that could have punished them. But I guess playing it safe. I don't know.
Yeah, don't have lethal as a result, but they could also lethal with a Raven Idol spell. All right, now they have 12 damage. It's 4 more for 6 mana or less.
There it is.
All right, so Liquid's going to take game 3 in a very decisive one. Because remember, Team Liquid was the one with the very unusual ban. In fact, when compLexity heard Team Liquid say, we're banning Druid and Rogue, we turned to compLexity and said, are you guys going to ban something weird too? And they said, no, we're sensible.
compLexity is sort of like a no-nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down to business. You know, take the gloves off. Take the kitty gloves off at least. And Team Liquid's the one able to benefit from it because compLexity is now down, and they've lost their Shaman and Freeze Mage. Those are some of the more powerful counter cues. They still have available to them Paladin, their Pirate Warrior. They have their own Priest and their own Warlock remaining. So out of these 4 decks, you know, it feels like compLexity might have to turn to Priest or Warrior next. But if Team Liquid has a tech against it, because remember, these run Druid the Claw. Druid the Claws is really good against Dragon Priest.
And Warrior.
And Warrior.
Yeah,
compLexity could be in some trouble here.
I sort of referenced earlier the Heroic Tavern Brawl run. I believe it was Firebat who was like one of the first to play the Druid the Claw version to 12 wins. And pretty much half of his matches were against Pirate Warrior. And he dismantled all of them. Now, granted, you know, it's Firebat, but these are all world-class players. They made it to the finals, and Firebat, his team on Cloud9, at least not anymore, didn't. So I think that's why they're scared to throw out the Pirate Warrior, because they've seen those Druid the Claws. They know that maybe it's not the best matchup, and Priest. This is tough. This is really tough.
Yeah, I'd probably queue up Priest here from compLexity, because you know that your opponent's running Ancient of Wars at the very least. Double Ancient of War builds are less favored against, or basically weaker to Priest, because they can Shadow Word Death plus develop.
Yes.
In the late stage of the game, they play Ancient of War, then you Shadow Word Death and play Draconode Operative, Shadow Word Death, play Corruptor, Shadow Word Death, play Twilight Guardians. You gain back so much tempo.
Yeah.
But the Druid the Claws kind of messed that up, because Druid the Claws are really good. And if your opponent's able to bait out Shadow Word Deaths on, say, the Jades, which are your engine anyways, then you can play Ancient of Wars. And it looks like compLexity is going to go for that. They said, you know what? Team Liquid's got some weak points in their deck. Team Liquid's also got some strong points, though. So let's see what ends up happening. Druid needs to get that early game ramp and draw, and Priest needs to get onto the board. But other than that, I think this match is pretty even.
Something we didn't think about. Maybe it's not even Pirate Warrior, Dan.
No way. You think they bring in Control Warrior, or
so
like some kind of weird N'Zoth Warrior? Fatigue Warrior? There's no way. There's just no way. It has to be Pirate Warrior.
Sleep with the Fishes control.
Not compLexity. If you said Cloud9 or Tempo Storm brought Sleep with the Fishes, N'Zoth Control Warrior with a Mayor Noggin Fogger because they got 5k retweets, I'd probably believe you. I'd probably believe you. But not compLexity.
Dank memes, Dan. Well, a pretty good opening for compLexity. Missing the 1-drop, which isn't necessarily a big deal. Eey.
Double Jade Blossom. You know, the thing about Innervate with Druid these days, we used to talk about how the longer it sits in your hand, the worse it gets. That's not the case anymore because of Auctioneer being in so many Jade Druid builds. Now, one thing to differentiate something that you mentioned, TJ, is that Firebat was pushing a tempo Jade Druid build. He was saying, you're not really playing for infinite Jades at all. In fact, you probably never shuffle Jade Idol in his variants, especially when you're playing against aggressive decks. But that was because he didn't play Auctioneer. He didn't play some of these late game options for Reno Warlock or Reno Mage. Team Liquid does. So Team Liquid kind of took the half and half approach. Maybe they don't have Living Roots in their deck, for example, and they have one Auctioneer. Either way, that's where Innervate does become powerful, because late game drawing with Auctioneers sometimes is just as important as playing it early game for tempo.
Yeah, that's a great point. There are some differences in the decks. But let's go and listen in now to compLexity, see how they want to plan their turns moving forward.
Oh!
I think they are planning the turns ahead.
Yeah. And we are just broke backing. Let's go, right?
Yeah.
Are you mocking me?
Doesn't contest the 2-4.
I played.
No, we Blossom.
Because if we go with this and we draw like a Behemoth, we have a 3/6 and a 3/3, right? And we have 3 draws for the Behemoth.
2.
1 from the next turn. Yeah, 2. And for Aya, which is okay.
My work is paramount.
Face or trade?
I think we...
Why would you trade?
Because we might get more value out of it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think maybe a 1/1 is so small that we don't care.
Yeah.
But it might be... It might be annoying later on against Swipe.
Later, I mean, it's about next turn, yeah, good. It only matters about next turn.
I think before that happens, it's more likely they get to trade the 1/1 with some turn. Like, even if they play a Drake next turn, we probably just tell them please trade, and then I don't
We go face here, right?
I think so. I would go.
Yeah, okay.
We have a good hand. Let's utilize it.
All right, so Team Liquid really mapping out their ramp and complexity. For a second, thought that Team Liquid was roping them just to BM and confuse their opponent. Kind of what Luminosity was doing at different phases last series.
Yeah, but talking about the matchup a little bit, complexity had a debate there whether or not to trade into the 1/1. Admirable and I had a conversation earlier about this, and pretty much this matchup, you just want to pressure as much as possible. Even 2 damage from a Worm Rest agent could make the difference. The debate is whether or not you want to try and protect that minion for the future, but I like what JJ said. It's all about next turn, because they always have the option to trade into it next turn if they see something that, lends to believe that there's a little bit more of a threat to their minions if that 1/1 survives.
Yeah, the part of the power of the Jade Druid is that when given enough time, it can just outvalue any deck.
Yeah.
And part of the power of Dragon Priest is that it constricts those decks because it's so fast at getting onto the board. The amount of stats that it puts out is enormous. Team Liquid is really hoping their opponent only has a minion this turn, but Complexity has the Shadow Word Pain and development. That's the huge thing about Dragon Priest against Jade Druid. Part of the reason why it's so good at removal is because Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death can get a lot of value, and it's cheap enough that you can squeeze in a powerful minion behind it. Coin Cabal Talent Priest into the Operative. That's so strong. Team Liquid is so far behind now, and like you said, they don't have to acknowledge this 1/1, because the 1/1 has to be the one dictating the trades for Team Liquid.
Yeah, remove, develop, and hit for damage. That's, the sort of the ideal situation. That's exactly what they're doing. But let's go and listen now to Team Liquid. Starting to get a little bit awkward. Let's see what they want to do.
They never heal on 5.
Yeah. Go Blossom Idol face, right?
Yeah, double Jade, I think.
We can hero power the 3/4. If you hero power the 3/4, setup's better swipe.
Let me think about this.
But we don't always want to swipe next turn. And we kind of telegraph it too.
No, we don't.
We don't telegraph.
It might be anything. Maybe we just. It actually telegraphs that we don't have nothing.
Yeah. All right.
You like hitting it?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have life to work with, right?
No, face.
I know,
yeah.
I know. I'm just.
Oh.
Mind gaming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we know we have a healing ability, right?
I feel like the 3/6 is really strong on this board.
The 3/6?
Yeah.
So I think we have 2 options here. We have either Cleric, Never Spite and Heal, or Secret Agent.
I think like we can just play the Cleric with the 3/6.
Wait, why are we not playing Draconauts?
Because then he gets to trade on the 3/3. Guys, why are we not playing Northshire, Historian and Heal? It's 5 mana, we save our Talent Priest and we cycle 1 more card deeper to...
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I like that play.
Like, I don't...
Yeah.
Oh, play that.
Yeah. And we take this trade.
Are you mocking me?
The stupid 1/1. It's on the board forever.
Yeah, and now?
It doesn't matter, I know.
It doesn't do anything.
You have to get like Wrath or something.
Wrath's not even good, is it? 0 power.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't attack though. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
1-1 still on the board, Dan.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, it's going to try and get good trades onto the board, but Team Liquid has none. They had an opportunity to swipe, but then they're not playing the Azure Drake. And so this kind of goes to show you that the Dragon Praise doesn't have to acknowledge it. They're able to just push the tempo. Now, what ends up becoming interesting was that I almost thought that the Operative was a guaranteed thing, but the compLexity guys thought, you know what, if we get a lot more value, then we can still develop onto the board and collect some value in the process. So we're winning in both categories. You know, because part of the problem is that over time you lose control of the board. JD just fights back. So you try to push as much damage as possible. Very similar to Arena Warlock in a sense, where the Priest wants to just kill the Druid with too much pressure. You know, the difference is Druid doesn't have access to a convenient AoE that kills everything onto the board. So Team Liquid is struggling a lot, and now when they picked up Jade Behemoth, it's an opportunity to start building up their Jades and fighting back, but they're extremely susceptible to a Bookworm or another Shadowword Pain. Can they afford to fall behind by just playing Nourish and Swipe, or are they going to just play Jade Behemoth? There's no good swipe targets, TJ.
No good swipe targets. Pretty much at 9 mana, everything becomes tough to use. It's super inefficient use of mana. And they're going to draw, but I mean, nothing picked up really that changed anything. Next turn, they're going to be left with 4 6-drops.
Yeah.
Which is the worst unless they pick up Innervate.
An Innervate would be really good, but no Innervates in the hand. Remember, they used one early on. compLexity now has an additional operative, so they can pick up a ton of value through the two operatives and the Nether Spite. Or even heal for this turn if they want to show up a resilient board. They saw that a swipe's been used and Azure Drake's gone, so their opponent's ability to swing the board is also reduced. I wouldn't blame them for just healing this turn.
Maybe they'll finally trade into the 1/1. Ooh. That's actually pretty good. A lot of times when you Draconid Operative against Druid, you get like all Jade options, which are usually pretty bad. Not necessarily bad, because a 3/6 taunt is still okay, but you usually want to be doing other things.
Yeah, Aya is still a decent amount of stats.
Yeah. Yeah, Aya is good, but being able to pick up like spot removal is definitely a bonus for the operatives. The big thing about it is the 5/6 though. But let's go listen in to Team Liquid now. Things are looking grim. Let's see what they're talking about.
What? They're just messing up with us.
Yeah. What? That's weird.
That seems sketchy. Oh, come on.
We have to auctioneer, right? We have to be money efficient.
We have to play Aya. We go Aya, Wild Growth, Wild Growth.
How big is the Jade? Like 3/3? 4/4?
Aya, Wild Growth, Wild Growth. Next turn we can cycle them with auctioneer.
Yeah,
I think so.
we save the excess mana, right?
Yeah.
We can also draw the Idol and then shuffle it and then play a bunch, maybe. Possible.
I really want to raft the Aya, I guess. I don't know. We can also go for full tempo now, because they want to do an auctioneer turn here.
Why are we not just playing minions and going face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we play the dragon first? No, it doesn't matter. That's too bad, right?
Yeah.
Secret agent coming through.
Yeah.
Ross, I guess.
It's rough, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like it.
Now we play the historian.
We could also heal. Heal the Twilight Guardian.
But then we can't play.
And we can't play the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
historian.
Once upon a time.
Actually, that's a 9/9.
operative.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't play the guy then.
I would play it.
I would play it as well.
Actually, sure.
We are trying to close the game.
Well, that should. Well, I was gonna say it should be game for complexity, but nah, yeah, that's game. The Dog mentioned a scenario where they could Gadgetzan Jade shuffle Jade Owls and just put a bunch on the board, but if they do that, they won't have removal. They're at 8 health.
Yeah, they could end up playing Gadgetzan Fish for 4 cards, and if one of them is Swipe or the Rats, then they can pick apart the board. I think they might need to play Jade Behemoth, though, and hope their opponent doesn't have removal, which they do. They have double Wrath, so if Team Liquid just plays Jade Behemoth, trade onto the board, their opponents will end up winning the game anyways. Ooh, Mulch is nice, though.
Mulch picked up.
Yeah, Mulch helps him remove a minion, play another Jade Idol. I mean, maybe this is their slight comeback? Wait, they might have enough damage anyways.
Is that enough? Yeah, I think with Holy Nova and Wrath and Shadow or Death.
Yeah, they have enough.
Not even Shadow or Death, but...
Good effort. I mean, look at that comeback from Jade Druid. Definitely a strong board, but not enough. So, looks like complexity is going to finally get the momentum back on their side with the win. Dragon Priest over Jade Druid, but this is kind of where Team Liquid wanted to be. They've lost the first game, but they're able to win 2 in a row to get the series advantage.
Yeah, and complexity is going to continue on the Dragon Priest. They still have Pirate or a Warrior deck, an unknown Warrior deck. Could be anything, Dan. But
I mean, it is a possibility, TJ. The possibility is above 0%.
Yeah, well, take a look at complexity. Still, again, Dragon Priest, Warrior, Paladin, Warlock left remaining for them. The series is all tied up, but as you mentioned, because of Team Liquid getting 2 wins in a row, they do have sort of that counter advantage where they get to pick the deck that they want to go up against complexity to try and pull away from the series. What's going to be best against Dragon Priest? Could be Mage, could be Paladin.
Yeah, I imagine Warlock is going to come out here, unless they're playing Freeze Mage too. Dog said he wasn't that comfortable on Mage right now, so I'm not exactly sure what that's pertaining to, but I'm sure that Team Liquid's got a plan for their Dragon Priest.
Yeah, we can kind of rule out Reno, not fully, but Reno hasn't had the success that it did at the beginning. So, but anything's possible.
Maybe it did leave Warrior open, so it does feel like Reno Mage is stronger because of that.
That's also true. That's true. But we'll have to see as we get into game number 5 in just a few moments. While we give the players a break, let's go and check in with That's Admirable, who's over at Trinity tonight with Luminosity.
Welcome back. I'm joined by the Luminosity boys, victorious in their first match. Seems like everything's calmed down. How are you guys doing enjoying these games right now? I mean, this is a pretty big match, and we've already seen some interesting stuff happening in this one.
Yep. I mean, we play against the winner, so we're definitely keeping our eye on it, writing down a bunch of cards, watching what decks they're playing, how they're playing them. But right now, it's just tied up, so not really too much to draw from it.
And Zilla, you were talking about some of the queues that were happening so far as well. That's a big deal in last Hero Standing where it is not in Conquest. What have you thought about the queue up so far, the pick order? And something that's peculiar is that there was no Warrior played directly into Druid. It smells like something's up to me.
Yeah, that's the big question on my mind. Is it just because they saw Ancient War Druid of the Claw that they're not that confident with Pirate Warrior into a Druid? Or maybe they actually didn't bring Pirate Warrior? Maybe it's some other kind of warrior. Could be Dragon Control. Who knows? All the questions in my mind are, Warrior. Why is Warrior but not banned? Why is Warrior not picked? What's going on here? What are the players thinking?
What are you thinking, Frozen?
The same. I think that it's very likely that the Warrior is something different at this point.
I think it's Pirates.
I kind of think it's Pirates, but that was like a prime matchup. Druid is like that's like the main course for Pirates. You just eat it up. It's
Everything's the main course for Pirates.
Yeah.
It's definitely true. It's definitely true. Some of the play also, we saw a lot of safe play going on, a lot of peculiar arguments. The 1-1 in particular was also really bothering me. I feel like I'm with Mystery Good on this one. Like the 1-1 wasn't really doing anything. JJ's right about that. But it's just kind of annoying to look at it on the board. Do you think you would have killed the 2-1? Or the 1-1 rather?
No.
Slay never knows. He just asks his questions and he goes with it. All right, so we're going to go into our segment, Who is That Pro? It's a team bonding experiment we have here where we're going to find out if they can identify who said what during their course of play. These are all quotes that happened during the regular season here at Trinity, and our first one is coming up right here. So can you guys collectively identify who this was? Don Honcho is pretty good here.
Sounds like Chalky.
Wait, no. No, that was Frozen. That was Frozen. That was Frozen.
That does sound like, okay.
That was Frozen.
Bing! Frozen it was. Let's roll the clip.
Yeah, because...
Good memory.
Pretty good. Whoa.
Don Honcho is pretty good here. Unbelievable. I don't think I've ever heard that before, other than that moment. Number 2, coming up. The only way we lose is we get cheesed, right? And that helps us not get cheesed.
That's probably me.
Could be me.
I mean, I say cheese more than any of us.
I'll believe Chalky.
I'm going to go Chalky.
Yeah.
Chalky.
That's right. It's Chalky. Let's take a look.
Are these all Luminasi quotes?
Yeah.
I think the only way we lose is we get cheesed, right? And that helps us not get cheese. Not really. Okay.
What helps us not get cheesed?
Don't want to get cheesed by that.
Wait, yeah, let's talk about. Do you like Jade Idol on the play?
What were we
With nothing else.
Nah.
We're really tired.
Talking about not getting cheesed.
Okay.
Makes sense to me.
It made sense to me at the time.
Yeah. It especially makes sense if you don't think about it.
That was 7 weeks ago.
Okay, so our third quote, it starts right now.
That's the quote?
Sorry, I was muted that whole time. So yeah, we just Jade Claws and 5 them.
That's me. I remember that.
That's okay.
I blame the roommate.
It was delay. Let's have a listen on how that happened.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was just having a nice conversation.
Sorry, I was muted that whole time. My bad. So yeah, we just Jade Claws and 5 them.
Yes.
Yeah. Good talk. Good talk.
Great quote.
The silence is the best part of the whole quote. Man, a few words.
Were we like delay?
All right, so this is our fourth quote. This happened over the course of some time during the game, so it's a multi-piece quote. I'll explain it as we go along. You want to just dome them with Starfire? Some time passes.
Starfire.
Maybe we just dome him with Starfire. Time passes. Jade Spirit, Shuffle, Hero Power? What about just doming it with Starfire?
That was Frozen.
Yeah.
That was Frozen.
That's correct. It was Frozen. Let's hear how that one took place.
Not Wild Raven Idol.
Do you want to just
dome him with the Starfire? No. Let's draft for one first, right?
Yes.
Let's
Maybe just dome him with a Starfire.
we can shuffle, nourish, and hero power that.
He had the mouse.
Yeah.
Hero power? What about just doming him with a...
Don't dome us. Don't dome.
No, make the dude. We want to play around Flame Strike by having a dude.
Makes no sense. Sure.
Yeah. But what if we just dome him?
Just dome him with Starfire.
No.
No, not at all.
No, that was the one thing we didn't want to do.
Which is really surprising given your history as a player.
He does
I mean, that week I was really, really tired because like...
Frozen's a low-key smorker.
I'm with Druid. I play a little bit more aggressively.
I like it. Sounds good to me. You guys have been some of the most talkative players that we've had. It's been so much fun. Like, you guys just take it so relaxed. I'm always like stressed out when I'm playing. I'm like, oh, geez, what do I do?
Well, it helps winning. Because when you're winning, you're just kind of happy.
Yep.
But, I don't know.
And if you lose badly enough, you can have a laugh
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
too, right? Like, boy, we can't do anything here.
That's been a common situation as well.
Yeah.
Just losing badly enough or winning. Either way it goes, it looks like Game 4 is just about ready. Players back in their seats. Let's go back over to TJ and Dan for this match.
Thanks very much, Admirable. Oh, man. I remember that week that Frozen was just in a doming mood. Just want to dome him.
Well, it seems like Luminosity's at least on the same page communication-wise, and that little segment shows that, once again, the teams are just having fun, just listening to themselves. But, you know, the important thing, I think, you know, the takeaway is that there's a lot of money on the line, and the stakes actually have gotten kind of high at this point. Yeah, you know, Trinity Series is an arena where we do throw out jokes from time to time, and, you know, you're doing some fun segments, you know, Who's That Pro or Nerf, Marry, Kill. But in the end, there's a lot of prize money to be had and won. $75K to first place, $30K for second place, and $15K for the rest. That could be some of the biggest wins of the entire year for these players. So a lot of them are taking it very seriously.
Or their entire career for some of these players. They win $25,000 per person. I mean, you look at $25,000 in the course of Hearthstone. A lot of these players haven't even made that much from prize money, at least, in a single year.
They would double up their career earnings.
Exactly, yeah.
Or define their entire career.
It's big. It's big. So even though, we like to keep it lighthearted, now that we're at the live finals here, it is down to business for a lot of these guys, and you can feel it in some of their demeanor. Luminosity joking around a lot, but they got down to business. That's a hand.
That is the power. That is the core four. These are the cards that you really want against Dragon Priest to make sure that you're able to have answers in every scenario. Twilight Drake, the proactive threat. Kazakus and Reno Jackson, the reactive threat. And then Draxus, the closing threat. It's so powerful from Team Liquid to have all access to these 4 cards. Now, compLexity, on the other hand, they need to throw away everything and just start from scratch. They need to get a 1-drop to play something. They're keeping Twilight Guardian in hope that they get some synergy with that, but it's a risk that they might have to take because a lot of times you don't get that 1-mana Twilight Well.
These are the Power Rangers, Dan.
Oh.
These are the Power Rangers of Warlock. They just formed the Megazord. Yeah.
We need dinosaur power! Dragonzord. I've been watching way too much of the
I know,
marathon,
Dan.
by the
I
way.
know.
I have I was rocking out. I was in the White Ranger waiting room, and when he finally came out, I was like, "Yeah, go Tommy!" I was nerding out. It felt like old times.
We had a rehearsal day yesterday, and we were like, yeah, it was a pretty slow day, and we went out to lunch and stuff, and the whole time, Dan's just in the back, sort of like on his phone, watching Power Rangers, making sound effects and just giggling to himself the whole day.
Oh man, my favorite is the hacker man. When every time Billy's on the keyboard, just moving his fingers across the keyboard, and everyone in chat just spams random letters. It's great.
Yeah.
But alas, we took a little break to bring you guys to Trinity Finals. That's also just equally entertaining. compLexity has double Talon Priest at this point, so any one of them just builds pressure, and that's going to be the name of the game. Just trying to get any kind of tempo snowballing for them. And the damage just really adds up over time. The only problem is that you're going to hope that, 1, Team Liquid doesn't have the Twilight Drake, but more importantly, 2, they don't have a Reno Jackson. Sometimes the Twilight Drake is great, but you can rush past that and just rush your opponent down.
Yeah, now that we're getting a little bit into the series, we're going to ask you guys this matchup, this is kind of an easy one, if you ask me. Who do you think will win this game, compLexity or Liquid? Type it in the chat, and we'll give you guys the update on that in a second. It seems like Team Liquid's got the hand, but one of the ways Priest wins is by pressuring, and they do have the pressure mounting up. So even though they have all the powerful minions, it's about finding those spells. It's going to be AoE. Yeah, that's about what I expected.
2 people believe that compLexity can win this game.
Those 2 people, those guys are nuts.
They're believers.
They are. All right, well, let's listen in to Team Liquid and see if they think their chances are the same as you guys.
That start, though.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's a really good start.
We bump, right? If you play, cause
yeah.
It depends what we get. But I think we bump anyway.
That hand, though, is so insane. We can definitely die before it. Kazakus, right?
Yeah.
5, right?
Yeah.
Is it 5?
right?
What does 5 do?
We can kill one guy and polymorph other.
Yeah. I think it's 5 regardless.
Yeah. Armor is also good.
Armor first, right?
Yeah, armor. If we take armor, we over 5, right?
Deal 5 removes 3 damage on board right away.
Yeah.
So how low will they put us? They will put us...
We don't have clear. I think we might have to go for the...
Stall?
Shit.
How much damage do we remove for next time?
They have 10 on board. We probably need armor, right?
Let's go armor.
Yeah, I like armor.
Let's just stay safe.
Freeze.
What about gold form? Will we... If we take armor, gold form seems okay, right?
I like Goldthorn.
This? No.
Okay, go for freeze. It's fine.
I mean, we survive anyway, right?
Yeah, and they're not trading, right?
They're not trading. That's the thing.
Yeah, but if they're not trading, we survive anyways, and
yeah.
we can buff our we can buff our units.
Are you sure we survive yet? 5.
We probably.
How much damage do we have? You have 8, 10. Can they ever clear the board with any potion? Like maybe the 3/6 is better,
But if we Corruptor the face, we have a Holy Nova or a Corruptor top deck.
I don't like that. I don't know. I think we want to... Well, okay, the worst potion for us, for them to have, is the...
Or damage AoE, right? Somehow.
Huh? I think you should play the Guardian. It's best against the AoE potions.
I must consider.
What about Pain Heal? How bad is that?
Pain heal, that's pretty good, right? And all to the face? I like that.
Yeah, sure.
Really awkward. So do we survive if we play potion? We are 12. Yeah, we definitely survive.
Yeah. We cannot go Farseer Coil, there's no way, right? No.
No, we die. You have to potion.
Yeah.
Oh, if we picked the damage, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have been dead.
We have to potion here.
Sucks.
Do we bump?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a scary game.
Yeah.
Wait, not so fast.
I would just Corruptor. It trade probably. The 2-1. Good value still.
Yeah.
We have a lot of damage on the board.
Yeah, yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah.
I wield the power.
Yeah, it's so hard with the potion because against this potion, yeah, the other line was a little.
Right, it's 8, 13.
Yeah. Our best draw is Shadow Flame.
Yeah, due to this Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Liquid got rich, all right.
How could anybody say no? Jeez,
They're
man.
just being contrarian. Because it's fun.
So contrarian.
And it's anonymous.
Chat.
Welcome to the internet, DJ. Faces Manipulator, Hellfire, Sunfairy Protector. I mean, the way that compLexity wins is through an overwhelming board position. Faces Manipulator can help you get there. Hellfire might be able to secure direct damage, but at 34 health, doesn't seem like you're getting there. You know, Team Liquid, of course, getting Reno Jackson. That was the only way they could survive. So you can't really blame compLexity for not acknowledging that.
Yeah, a lot of times you have to act like they don't have it. Because this matchup is a bad matchup on paper in general, and in bad matchups you have to take those risks, and you have to have like they don't have the perfect. You have to act like they don't have the perfect hand. But even though they got rich with Reno, they aren't out of the woods yet. They don't have any type of AOE in their hand at the moment, and this board is still giving them a beatdown. They're already pushing back Team Liquid down to 21 health through the armor. Demon Wrath, not really too much help.
Right. Yeah, so despite all the fact that Team Liquid had great tools and they forekept, they're still struggling because compLexity had a really powerful start. So let's go ahead and listen in and see how they're going to adapt the situation in this crucial turn.
That's the way to make that happen.
We can't.
Yeah. I guess it has to be Giant Farseer. Yeah. Heal our face.
Yeah.
They don't. We might have Shadow Flame, right?
I don't like. I really don't mind it, like facelessing in and maybe trading it.
I am just
On the
like
other
we have 17 damage here.
Yeah, but I don't think we can just go full face. Like, how do you deal with the 7 more if the bot is gone? I actually like faceless and trade into it.
I don't like that actually. I think we just go face.
And what play?
Like just a bookworm on it.
On a free.
Yeah.
And all fades, huh?
Yeah, I guess we can hope that they don't have it.
Just as likely they have just like twisting, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I
Yeah.
We can still get a Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
By coiling stuff.
We can also just tap to get it, right? We have 2 chances for it.
Yes, but how? What is the most efficient way? Coiling first is better, right? Because we can get a Dirty Red Shadow Flame.
Yes, coiling is better.
I mean, we
first.
can get it anyway.
Coiling is better.
But then
right?
we are more likely to die.
Yeah, coiling is better.
Is it?
Well, the thing is, we trade off our unit and we don't have board after.
This, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
We can tap for it, but do we need to tap?
We can also get some Fury.
We have to tap, right?
Yeah. We have
I mean, technically we could play Dirty Red Shadow Ball trade. We're not dead on board, then it's 3 damage. But I think we need to tap.
Alright, we're still not dead. We're gonna die to this.
If they pull something, we die.
Well, they have a dragon.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. We got destroyed.
Wow. Team Liquid dead on board. compLexity popping off, realizing that was a massive win in this series, TJ. Especially one as unfavorable with Dragon Priest up against Reno Warlock. And with that hand, Team Liquid 4-kept. They kept everything in their opening mulligan.
Yeah. When Super JJ saw that last turn and realized that they won, I could feel his grunts of pleasure resonate through me. It was very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
It definitely felt like one of the most relieving moments for compLexity because they felt like they were ahead in the beginning of the series, getting that win with Freeze Mage against Shaman. Then they lost 2 in a row to Jade Druid, but now this Dragon Priest not only was able to defeat Jade Druid, but now has also taken down the Reno Warlock. Remember that Team Liquid still has to go up against against Pirate Warrior, and they're running out of options. Not to mention, how are they still going to deal with the Dragon Priest from compLexity? Because they didn't queue Freeze Mage, so I'm thinking that this is a Reno Mage from Dog.
It could be, yeah. You could be right there. You know, Reno Mage, we talked about how it's sort of rotating out a little bit from a lot of these players' lineups, especially if you look in competitive play. In like best of fives, Mage has, compared to 2 months ago where it was in every lineup, now it's in like 50% of lineups. So
yeah, it's funny how the aggressive decks got nerfed and Reno Mage fell down in tiers, right? It's just the way the balance is. It's never always 1-to-1 when it comes to the balance of things. Because Aggro Shaman got nerfed so heavily, and Pirate Warrior did get nerfed, but not as substantially. The Reno Mage, which countered those aggressive decks and was consequently propped up by that, ended up becoming a lot worse. Not to mention that Jade Druid became more prominent.
Sure.
Therefore, Reno Mage got pushed all the way down. Now, the question is this Freeze Mage? Is it Reno Mage? Is it Tempo Mage? Something that we didn't also equate to. Tempo Mage can struggle against Dragon Priest, too. So maybe Team Liquid has something up their sleeves. We don't know what's happening for sure, though.
yeah, we'll give the players a chance to choose which deck they're going to use and take a little bit of a breather. In the meantime, we're going to send it over to That's Admirable at Trinity tonight, who I've heard has a bit of a surprise for us.
That's right, TJ. More special guests as continuing developments happen on Trinity tonight. After an unfortunate loss, I'm joined by Virtus.pro's Dr. Hippie, who has decided that he's going to dye his hair, both for additional power and for the community. Dr. Hippie, why have you chosen to make such a bold move here today?
Why not?
Inspiring words from Dr. Hippie, the runner-up at the 2016 World Championships. Let's head back over to TJ and Dan for the conclusion of this match.
Dyeing his hair on stream. I'm pretty sure it's going to be orange for Virtus.pro colors,
Yes,
similar to what he did
is.
for the World Championship last year.
I'm proud of him.
After the World Championship, I asked him, like, are you going to keep the orange? And he told me no. Like, straight up, he's like, no. He said,
He didn't keep it.
That was he
Now
didn't
he's
keep
bringing
it.
back.
Now he's bringing it back,
I
yeah.
think it takes a lot of courage for a man to have his hair dyed and rock it on stream. Those are the kind of men that I think deserves the admiration of his peers.
Yeah, I just
Dr. Hippie's hair.
Pop champ or
Pop champ
Craigasm?
or Craigasm. You are able to type both too. I think. Actually, does that count for both? I don't know.
I don't know, probably. Type both if you want to. it'll contribute to the vote. But yeah, I do agree with you, Dan. I did have a stint last year where I dyed my hair a couple colors.
Yeah, so what ended up
like a
happening,
real man.
Last year, TJ actually dyed his hair as a surprise to try to, impress me. But then he actually didn't take care of it and immediately washed his hair.
Yeah, and then it all washed out.
All the dye just washed out within a week.
It was kind of, I didn't have it professionally done. It was kind of like a last minute thing. I'm like, you know what? My whole goal from my cast career from the very get-go was just to impress Dan. And every step of the way,
Not that hard, TJ.
Every step of the way, I just try and find something that's gonna make Dan think more of me.
TJ, I think about you a lot, man. I think about you every time I start Hearthstone casting because I really enjoy casting with you, and I miss you whenever you're not with me.
It warms my heart, man. It warms my heart.
Yeah. Well, Team Liquid right now probably missing that Reno Warlock, wishing that they could queue it up again. Instead, they're going for the Dragon Priest Mirror. This almost all but confirms my theory, TJ, that they're not playing Freeze Mage, that they're playing either Tempo Mage or Reno Mage.
I think I'll go ahead and agree with you there.
I'm leaning towards Reno Mage, primarily because of how it's good against Pirate Warrior, which they left open the bans.
Now, Tempo Mage originated in China. Sort of. I mean, the Chinese players were the first to start playing in tournaments, and a lot of the Chinese players said that it was good against Pirate Warrior. It was a deck that you could bring that challenged other decks while also being against Pirate Warrior in a format where you can ban away Shaman. So it could be Tempo Mage as well, but we'll only have to see. Dragon Priest Mirror, this is a matchup that can get kind of, I don't even know the word for it, crazy.
Silly is one way to
silly
because what ends up happening is there's a delicate balance between value and tempo, and if you're a Team Liquid right now, you're kind of really worried that you're going to be falling behind on the tempo. So they're even playing Twilight Well just to develop their hand a little bit better. And compLexity gets a lot of information. They know they have no dragon, they have no 2-drop, but what they are afraid of is a Capal Talent Priest, which is something that's coming up here. But they have Shadow Word Pain. And then, of course, the value game gets really silly if it ends up becoming that, because you have Draconid Operatives that discover your opponent's Draconid Operatives, or you have Netherspite Historians, which discover Draconid Operatives. And then you have Brand Bronzebeard to kind of tie in all that value together. It gets really wonky really fast if it ends up coming to that.
It's an endless loop of Draconid Operatives at times. But let's now listen into Team Liquid. A rough early hand. Let's see how they want to handle it.
Because we can get a 4-drop.
Yeah, another spite.
Operative.
There, Guardian,
yeah,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they have like the buff cards, right?
Wait, what?
They have the buff cards.
No, we don't paint.
So they can be bigger.
Yeah,
now, of course not.
Okay, we have two options. We can either Twilight Web and heal, but I don't like it too much. I like just calling Twilight Guardian and attack into the 1/3.
If you attack into the 1/3, he can trade back with the 1/3, 1/1, isn't it?
I think that's better than him trading with the 2/3.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we call out the Guardian. Let's do that, right?
Yeah, I like it way, way more.
Yeah.
And now we have to decide.
I like hitting into 1/3.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think, Crane?
I don't think so. In case his turn is healed. I don't see the point. I don't see the point.
In 3/6.
Wait, do we pain? We have to pain, right? Yeah.
This is our best pain target, except his Bookworm, but we have this for that.
Yep. Alright, do it.
Trade the 2/3, heal the 2/3. Next on operative.
They coined that, that's good. That means they have another one probably, but...
It's fine. It means Ran gets safer long term, buffing 3 attack guys with health gets better long term.
Yeah.
Well, the value match battle is starting to heat up here. First Draconid Operative for Team Liquid. And Holy Nova, Blackwing Technician. This just gives them some information that Holy Nova is present in the deck as well. So maybe not the best options. We're not going to see that endless battle of Dragon and Operatives, as we mentioned, with Nether Spy Historian not picking up one, and now Operative not picking up one. But Holy Nova can be great in this matchup because with so many like high health minions battling back and forth, the board combat gets kind of complex at times, and Holy Nova can really smooth things out.
I mean, we can break down this matchup a little bit further into more clearly defined tiers. The ideal setup that you want to go for is a big board that has a lot of tempo on it and health and stats. If you're able to play for the board, your opponent's removal gets really weak. Holy Nova is terrible against Guardians, against Blackwing Corruptors, against Draconaut Operatives, assuming they're at full health. And then Dragonfire Potion's even worse because it doesn't hit dragons, and your deck is like 80% dragons. So ideally, you're able to get onto the board and never relinquish it. If that doesn't work, then you start playing for value. If that doesn't work, you start praying for the Discovered, the Deathwings opportunities, and hoping that your opponent doesn't have Shadow Word Death and Shadow Word Pains and Bookworms.
Yeah, Bookworm, pretty heavy punish.
But then what if their opponent gets to Bookworm, and they Bookworm the Bookworm?
Then they Bookworm the Bookworm, and then we're down the endless loop again.
Or they Shadow Word Pain and play their own Twilight Guardian. Like, the trains go back and forth, and it's a lot of give and take in this matchup.
Yep.
Whew!
Ooh.
Wow. That is... You know, there's a case for Malygos, and there's a case for Deathwing. Deathwing, of course, because it's the final trump card, but then you have no cards in your hand, and if your opponent has a single death, then you're playing really behind. Malygos can't really get dealt with as a priest card, but you don't really have too much benefit. Dragonfire Potion doesn't really impact the board the way you like it to with Malygos against Dragon.
Yeah, the body, I think, is the reason why they picked that. But let's now go and listen into Team Liquid once again and see what they're talking about as we get towards this mid-game.
Drake's not weak to anything, right?
Corruptor.
But this is also weak to Corruptor.
Yeah.
Like they will bump Corruptor.
Why don't we just go Drake
And we don't have activated
Why don't we just go Drake Pain? What are we saving Pain for? Bookworm? That's it, right?
I think we save Pain for Bookworm. Or 3-4.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. Or like if they buff the...
But they can't kill the 1-3, and we're getting card draw off of the Northshire, right?
Yeah, I think if we do this, we set up Holy Nova also.
Yeah, so we go with Pain.
Okay, let's go. I mean, let's go Drake first. I don't think we Pain here. Ever.
Yeah.
You don't like Pain?
You missed a value trade. Kind of. You could have tried into 2-3 and heal it back.
It doesn't do anything.
It deals 1 damage to a minion.
Yeah, Corruptor's kind of annoying here, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then we have to double trade into 1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play the Drake. I like it.
Yeah.
Double trade, yeah.
Oh, wait.
What?
Okay.
What the fuck? And heal whatever, right? I mean...
Yeah, the 2.
I mean, doesn't make it that... We can also heal our face. That might be relevant.
I think I would...
I'll still heal the 2-2. Like, say Nova doesn't come down
Yeah.
this turn.
Yeah.
Then turn after, maybe.
I think it's Cabal Town Priest.
Yeah, every
trade
time,
Nova.
right?
Wait, do we Nova?
Why not?
Why would we?
I think we
go with Cleric, Heal, and Wormrest, right?
Yeah, we save
much
the Nova.
better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nova, we can get much more value from it.
Yeah.
And this play is really strong.
Yeah, it's really
Cleric Wyrmrest is super weak to Nova, but we get draws from their minions.
We don't get any draws if we use Nova now.
No, I mean, if you go to your play, they have a really clean Nova that trades, but we draw cards from their minions.
So it's good, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Bump. Cleric, Heal.
Maybe Pain onto 2-3. No, probably not.
Wait, what if we Pain?
No, it's fine.
I'm just scared of
Dragonfire?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright then.
it only kills this.
The Cleric's so relevant, we need to keep it alive. We're out of cards.
We are not. Like, we don't have dead cards in our deck. We already drew all of them. Except 1 death.
Yeah, that's true.
And they didn't have Pain.
Dog brings up actually a pretty good point. This is about as much value as Dragonfire Potion's ever going to get in the matchup. Maybe it's worth it to hedge against it slightly in the long run.
I think you're referencing Nyria, actually. Nyria saying it's not a big deal.
Oh,
I
Dog was the one who said, like, I'm worried about Dragonfire Potion.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
you do think Dragonfire Potion's a big deal?
Yeah,
if
making
if
Dragonfire
complexity
Potion
has it, their Team Liquid's in trouble.
Yeah, Dragonfire Potion is a dead card for all intents and purposes a lot of the time, and they sort of played into it as much as they could possibly play into it in that case.
I guess so, but I also agree with Nyria. I think Team Liquid has drawn kind of badly this game, and they had to rely on Nethys by Historians to fill out the curves. And as a result, they've gotten past the worst of it. They're likely to draw into good stuff. A lot of people from this point who might be tuning in halfway through thinking, wow, Team Liquid's drawing really good off the top. They drew a lot of all their bad cards at the very beginning stages of the game. And now they're firmly in position to control the state of the board. I'm liking Team Liquid's position, so I think it was perfectly fine. And forcing them to play Dragonfire Potion means they're not spending a turn developing, and Azure gets to bully the board.
Malagos could come down here. Malagos is coming down. 412. It's hard to deal with. 4 attack in general. Oh.
Yeah, well, the Cleric allows them to draw.
Cleric Holy Nova, it allows them to reach the Malagos as well.
Oh, you're right, because the spell damage, something we weren't actually considering. You don't really think about spell damage too much in this matchup, but it's actually very relevant here.
Yeah.
Huge moment.
And they draw 2 cards. Protect the Azure Drake, which is their own 4-attack minion. This is probably the cleanest they could hope. And we can see you guys voting there, trying to test your Dragon Priest mirror matchup knowledge to see who's going to win. It does feel like Team Liquid has the edge.
Yeah, and the most important thing is who can stick a minion onto the board with high health and 4 attack. That ends up being the case. That's always been the case against Priest, even dating back to the early stages of Hearthstone beta. Priest versus Priest often came down to the injured Blade Masters, who's able to have that minion stick onto the board early. Now, compLexity does have some tools to fight back. Blackwing Corruptor shuts off this Northshire Cleric, which is really important to make sure Team Liquid can't draw. But now, Team Liquid's in a pretty dominant position. Let's go ahead and tune in and see how they're going to handle this turn.
Yeah. Making the push.
They use a lot of dragons, so Dragonfire Potion becomes better and better.
Mm-hmm. Let's play that, right?
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Holy moly, these are not good options. Yeah, we have to take a Crusher, right?
Yeah, I think take a Crusher and play a Crusher.
Yeah, agree.
This one, right?
Yeah.
For Blackwing!
Yeah, I mean, we just fell behind on tempo and they just had the Clerics, which we didn't, right? It's just like...
Yeah, we just cast...
What if we Corruptor trade heal?
No, we just Guardian and full smoke.
They used all the paints, right?
Oh yeah, we can brand Twilight Guardian.
No, brand Corruptor, right?
Corruptor. And save this.
No, that sucks.
Why?
If you use brand Guardian, we have a 4/6. They have no way to kill it. And then we can push full face and set up lethal.
So you want to do this, this, and this?
Yes.
They use Bookworm, right? And both paints.
They might have a Deathwing only.
Yeah, Deathwing's the only thing I'm concerned about.
So this plays around Deathwing.
Yes. I mean, it's fine, both lines.
Yeah, I think Deathwing is how we lose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then go brand Corruptor.
Yeah.
And value trade, I guess, then?
Yeah.
Keep the front.
Do we value trade?
Yes.
No. Wait, do we? Why? Don't. There's no reason to, right?
We have lethal if we go face.
Okay, go.
Go face.
And pain then.
No, we pay.
No, don't.
I mean, you could have pain.
Well, Super JJ pretty much summed up. They took the tempo and they got value with the Northshire Cleric. And again, we set the stage earlier. Those are sort of the dynamics that you're looking for in this matchup. The stages of Dragon Priest mirrors, and Team Liquid didn't have the good early game, but won the mid game stages with value and tempo. So they were able to seemingly take the series. I don't see a way out for compLexity.
Yeah, compLexity just kind of fallen victim to what we were talking about. I am really interested by the debate that Team Liquid had with Twilight Guardian setting up as a 4/6 and pushing for lethal versus the Blackwing Corruptor. And it might seem like Team Liquid still able to come out on top here, but still there was an opportunity for them to It's just interesting to hear two sides of the debate there. You know, I'm not really saying one was right compared to the other, because it seems like no matter what they do, they're about to win. Because now if they set up a taunt, they just silence, so much damage. Shadow Word Death, the Corruptor.
It does take a while to get that final push in, though. That's for sure. But Team Liquid, afraid of Deathwing, that's why they're holding on to that Shadow Word Death. They have not seen that final operative or Netherspite Historian card, which is that Draconid Crusher that's sitting in the hand. So, 1 damage off lethal, but this is effectively going to lock up the game. I can imagine Team Liquid's going to try and play a little bit more conservatively in this final turn, just in case that Deathwing were to come out, but should be wrapping up the game here. Heal your opponent's face, just for BM.
Yeah, just trying to make sure to hedge their bets against anything else. But looks like they're just going to pass in case their opponent has anything. You know, Deathwing, for example, because they know one dragon was discovered.
Cleric's a little late. Little late to the party. All right, Team Liquid takes this.
Wow.
Takes the game, ties up the series 3-3, and we're back to square one. Effectively, it comes down to a best of 5.
Yeah, but most importantly, complexity now has the pick advantage. You know, they're able to queue something that counters the Dragon Priest, their own Reno Warlock, for example. And if Team Liquid's able to win that unfavorable matchup, then they're back in the driver's seat. But like you said, TJ, they're running out of breathing room. It's come down to the last 3 decks for both these teams. And it feels like Complexity's avoiding playing Warrior as much as possible, which is interesting because Warrior's so good across the board that ideally you try to get as many wins as you can with it because it's so dominant. But now that they're saving it, this is also an opportunity to play Pirate Warrior, because I do believe that Pirate Warrior can crush Dragon Priest very easily these days. Some people feel like Dragon Priest is anti-Pirate Warrior. I feel like every time I queue that matchup as Dragon Priest, I just get steamrolled.
No, you know, it's weird how Dragon Priest sort of came into the meta. It was sort of to counter unrefined aggro decks at the beginning of Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, when aggro decks were still like trying to come up with what's the ideal list. And then it sort of preyed on those lists because it was able to take the board early. But now that the aggro decks are refined and the Warrior lists are, you know, maybe differ 2-3 cards max, I really do feel like the Warrior has a pretty big edge in that matchup, which is different from the perception that a lot of players had in December when the expansion was first launched.
Yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening. Remember, we don't know exactly what's in the deck lists of some of these classes, so maybe there's variations we're not expecting. What if Complexity actually hits Zoo and they're just they have to go all in on the Warrior? It's not guaranteed to be Reno Warlock. It's very likely is. And then Complexity also has to map out, well, if we play Reno Warlock here, how safe is it against other classes? What if we went Pirate Warrior here? You know, they lost some of their other tools. Maybe they're saving their mage for something specifically. Where, in my opinion, I think some of the comms that are most interesting are happening right now. And I think a lot of that decision-making is going to have repercussions leading into who gets the advantage moving forward.
I just want to point out something, Dan, that we talked about a little bit earlier, but how cool it is that we have the team-themed fire behind the players. You guys
white
notice
fire.
Yeah, that changes based on the teams. We had blue earlier on for Luminosity,
which is the hottest.
Yeah, hottest fire.
Just scientific.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're right.
And then there's blue, and then there's white.
And we had orange for Virtus Pro. It was actual fire, essentially.
Well, orange is the second least hot. It's the second coolest version of fire. And then red's actually.
Shall bring victory.
Isn't that how it works?
Because
like based
you're
off,
the one teaching me here, Dan.
it goes blue, 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 white, white, yellow, white, yellow.
I don't know no
orange,
science.
red.
I only know cards.
I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. The strength of heat in terms of the fire.
I'll take your word for it.
That's why when the stove, when it turns on, you see blue. It's like, oh, my stove it's lit.
It is lit.
You know, 4 fingers doing the wave.
All you need is 2 fingers to do lit.
A-okay.
A-okay. But jumping into game number 7 here in this best of 11 series, Complexity Team Liquid. These are the initial matches, so these guys are playing to go on to the winner side of the double elimination bracket. They lose, they go out down to face a Virtus Pro in the lower side of the bracket, the elimination match tomorrow. So a big deal, but Complexity does have Reno Warlock here, definitely a counter to priest decks in general, traditionally.
Certainly. Discovering some pretty subpar options. Twilight Whelp helps get you some board presence. It might be more important than just getting the Midnight Drake. Deathwing Dragonlord is an interesting idea, but I think the game will be determined way before Deathwing can have a huge impact. It might be like a nice threat, but then they could just save Siphon Souls and whatnot, like Blast Crystal Potions, Twisting Nethers, and then you might be so far extended that Deathwing Dragonlord doesn't even actually give you dragon value. So I like that. A lot of people might be drawn initially like, oh yeah, they have Draxes, you just played Deathwing Dragonlord, but the game might be decided before that.
This does seem to be, as a side note, a more low-curve Reno deck for complexity. Cards in those types of decks, Dark Peddler, Sunfire Protector, those are cards that, well, actually, Faceless Manipulator changes that.
Right.
I made a poor read. Faceless Manipulator indicates combo, which you can play low-curve combo, but it's a little bit harder. I refer to low curve. A lot of players in the low curve Reno decks nowadays play patches, actually. They play Bloodstone Force and patches to really go on the anti-aggro bandwagon.
And I saw several players doing that. I saw Fibonacci doing it. I saw Savitz do it. And they all had some pretty good success. And then, of course, picked up by several other players. Let's go ahead and listen into the teams and see what they're debating as they're coming up on a couple of power swing opportunities for either side.
Silence is annoying.
But when we have coins, Savannah switch they're pretty good.
I mean, silence into 5-drop.
I don't even think they run silence.
Well, last time they
did. Let's see what we get.
Rag.
Rag.
And face. We don't trade right to play around it. Then we gotta play around it the entire game.
Knowing Crane, they don't have MC tech in the deck.
Alright. That feels better then. So yes,
okay,
Smork.
whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, we can max get 4 bursts from our deck with the PO.
Yeah. Yeah, I would coin the Sylvanas. And trade the 5-4.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, the other line is too faceless.
Yeah, but it's not as board representative as Sylvanas, right? I mean, the Sylvanas we can just Shadow Flame. I mean, with the coin, we can't coin out the Raxus, but it's not even a plan, right?
I wanna coin the Sylvanas.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I have no time for games.
What?
Nova, right?
How do we do it then? We trade the cleric
we
into...
have to bump here, and then the cleric.
Yes.
And how
wait.
do we overdraw? We don't
We don't overdraw.
No.
We'll have 10 cards next turn, and we clear full clear, and give them like 1 attack minion probably.
Yeah. So bump the cleric first, then that, and then
but
cleric Nova.
is there other play we can do?
We can give them a cleric, possibly, but that's bad.
No, we'd rather take a card than a possibility to lose like a 5-3.
I like the cleric Nova.
They don't have good steals anyway, right?
Yeah, they don't.
It's 5-3 only.
Oh, no.
Yes, this way.
Yeah, and then bump the other one, okay.
Quickly. And face.
Yeah, face. It's good.
Oh, it's 5-4, never mind.
Pretty good.
What is this, guys?
I think we always go with the Peddler.
Yeah. I would also play the Peddler.
Buying or selling.
I would take the PO.
Yes.
I think we just trade there and then play Imp Gang Boss.
Can also tap, right?
Yeah.
I would tap. Yeah. I would tap. Trade into the Draconid, right?
Yeah.
And just taunt both up.
Taunt it?
Yeah.
Right.
How is that bad? I think
Okay.
I think we're not even.
Actually we should have kept Sun Fury for the PO, right? PO thingy. It's fine. They can't develop that much. We have a Siphon.
I'm more afraid of getting outvalued when out-tempoed here.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like you know, Team Liquid has slowed down this match considerably, and I think it's a pretty good pivot, considering that it doesn't look like they're able to push complexity out of the game. They do have the ability to, you know, burst in quotation marks with Bran and Blackwing Corruptor, but that's very minuscule compared to what you're normally expecting out of a Hearthstone deck. And they might be able to go the distance. You know, they have Ragnaros in the hand. They have the ability to discover 2 minions next turn, or 2 potential threats. Leroy and Faceless have been taken away, as well as Jiraxis. So it's a little bit you know, unfortunate for Team Liquid, but they still can discover some really good tools. Maybe something that we're not expecting on top of that.
And I like that they're continuing to prioritize card draw over power on board, because you can win in that long value matchup.
Ooh, it's starting to get tough though. Complexity's drawing almost every one of the good cards that you want to discover. You know, Team Liquid would love to pick up extra burst and reach, like Leroy and Power Overwhelming with that Faceless. Even Ragnaros, you know, constant threats. Siphon Soul and Twisting Nether, those are really powerful tools. If they end up discovering, you know, Dark Peddler and the Sun Fury Protector, these are like some really, oh, I guess Sun Fury Protector is on the board right now. But you
Dark
get
Peddler was played, yeah.
Right.
They did discover Rag, so they did get that out of the way before the Rag was picked up. So that's going to be a good one. They might even have a Rag at their own deck. I don't think we saw it in the last match, and we did see quite a bit of their deck, but
yeah. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that right now Complexity is drawing all their power cards, and there's a lot of fodder that they don't mind Team Liquid taking from their deck at the moment.
For sure. But now this is getting to a kind of awkward situation. Team Liquid has the Bran Blackwing Corruptor in hand, so if no power is removed from the board, which
there should be,
isn't going to be much of the case, but
yeah, they know that they're under threat of Bran and Blackwing Corruptor, so they're going to at least make that trade.
1 damage off the Rag flip here. And I think that's you're very vulnerable to Siphon Soul if you go with the Rag play. So I can imagine they're going to try and, again, play a little bit more conservative to the board, draw another card.
Yeah.
Potentially with this Historian and the Northshire Cleric.
Just tighten the noose a little bit to the point where Complexity feels uncomfortable and they have to hit a reset button. They want to force a Reno Jackson. They want to force out, you know, some drastic AoE like Shadow Flame. Let's listen in and see what Complexity's going to do.
Can we ever tap Bruiser Gangboss?
How much can they put out? Like, what if we just go with Twisting here and then...
And then Jiraxis, and what then?
Yeah, then we have the stuff with the Shadow Flame. Try to develop after that. I think that's a decent line.
But
can we really Twisting into Jiraxis though?
I don't like that. I mean, why don't we just tap Bruiser Gangboss, refill our hand? We can't really die, right?
Almost out of time.
Yeah, now we just Bruiser and fast here.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
I mean, when...
So do we have lethal? No.
Can we set up lethal? No. How many cards do we have? We have 10.
Is Bran Corruptor not setting up lethal?
I think we want to brand this.
Yes.
This,
we can do it this turn, but that commits too much, right?
I think we power shield the 3/6. So it
to start with, but we want a Corruptor here, right? And then trade in the plebs.
Then we power shield Corruptor.
The Corruptor over this, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
must consider.
I wield the power.
Yeah.
And then they just value trade and heal, and value heal.
No, we go face.
No,
right?
we value heal.
What we lose to Nether. We can't lethal him with Nether. I guess it doesn't matter.
Like if they Nether, we develop again. You can
That's
play
true.
2-4 and go face. I think it's better actually.
Before,
So if they Nether, we just rag them. They have one drop, right?
Yeah, they still have the 1-drop. So it could be PO.
No, they have no PO.
No, but they have the Peddler 1-drop.
Oh yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Did they play Peddler?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
Can we go Leroy, Shadow Flame the Leroy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I think it's decent, right? We stay on board. We are not into any lethal range. I mean, if I have Rag, it's 50-50. I think it's Shadow Leroy.
Yeah, I like it. It's
Also get for, on board for the first time. I mean, we didn't draw either Kazakus or Reno, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Team Liquid's got that rag, which they discovered earlier, and I don't think compLexity's playing around it. They have an opportunity to set up a 50% chance for lethal. Looks like they're gonna save it. I think they're, you know, the logic behind of what they were talking about before was that they want their opponents to feel like they have to Twisting Nether.
Kazakus.
Kazakus.
They're starting to get to the point where their deck is thin enough to where they might be able to activate Kazakus. Maybe just a few 2-ofs left in the deck. I can't even think. I mean, there's been so many cards played, a lot of cards stolen as well for operatives. So it's going to be a buffed up Whelp also. And this is an awkward situation now for compLexity. At any point, if they Twisting Nether, they die to Rag.
Yeah, and I think they're starting to catch on to that too. They can choose to Siphon Soul and play defensive instead with a 4-drop. The alternative to that is just Twisting Nether. It doesn't look really good. They use Shadow Flame already, so you know compLexity is under the gun. Too much pressure being applied by the Dragon Priest, and that's partially because of Team Liquid really spacing out their threats, collecting a lot of value, and making sure that they set up lethal in every opportunity.
Yeah, we just got a glimpse at the card counts. 13 left for compLexity, 10 left for Team Liquid. So they've drawn 2 to 3 more cards more than a Reno lock, which is sort of crazy to think. And now they are going to have to go with the Defender of Argus.
I went just Dragonfire Potion here. Not enough. So, wow, they can activate Kazakus
They can activate Kazakus. Well, let's go listen to Team Liquid, see what they're debating. Maybe they're going to go with the Kazakus this turn.
It's just unnecessary, right?
Yeah. Just go Dragonfire, trade, and play Kazakus.
Yeah.
Kazakus. Do we take a 10?
Yes. Right?
We take a 5, right?
Why would we take a 5? Why not just a 10?
10 is 8 burst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess 10 is better then.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's close.
Yeah, it's close.
We can get Revive also. Minion transform?
Demons?
No.
We don't need more value.
Like, what would we need to transform?
I don't know.
We don't need it. We have 2 deaths. Yeah.
Freeze, maybe?
Okay.
Revive.
Revive, yeah. Like, this way they can't outvalue our board, ever.
Wait, what did we pick anyways?
The demon. So bad.
Why did we pick the... Oh, man.
What do you mean? Like, it's the 3 minions. We just play minions.
The only way we lose is Jiraxxus, right?
No, because they can't Jiraxxus on this board.
They can Jiraxxus Soulfire or something.
But then we have Rag.
Yeah. Okay, Jiraxxus Coil, I don't know, yeah. Alright.
Yeah, I think Polymorph was still better, actually.
Do we ever Twisting and hope they didn't get damage?
Unlikely.
They probably took the 10 mana one.
Yeah.
So let's tap.
Yeah, I think we have to go for Reno, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so we just Twisting now.
Yeah, we twist.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing we can do. We just didn't draw Reno or Kazakus in time. It's just them having a very, very valuable hand. We didn't.
Well, so far in this series, Dragon Priest has a 100% win rate.
Ridiculous.
2-0 against Reno Warlock, which is considered one of its hardest counters. It's been crazy how much value these priests are getting, but getting the job done, and Team Liquid takes the lead in the series 4-3 after a pretty crucial win in a matchup that compLexity chose.
So let me get this straight. So Team Liquid, when they got Reno Warlock counter-queued against compLexity's Dragon Priest, they had Kazakus and Reno and Twilight Drake and Jiraxis in their opening hand. They kept it all. They lost. Then compLexity gets neither Reno Jackson or Kazakus, only being stuck with a couple of suboptimal plays, and they lost too. So it's just one of those things where if you have it in the starting hand, it doesn't guarantee you, and if you don't have it and you don't draw it later on, you're still in a tough spot. It's just some wild swings, and
yeah,
in the end, that's kind of what you want to see, because if only favorable matchups won, then it's kind of mapped out. You win the first game of last year's standing, and then every favorable advantage that goes into your way just means you trade games. But now Dragon Priest has upset Reno Warlock twice this series, and Team Liquid's in a commanding position to wrap this up here.
I do love the way that Liquid played that game, though. They played a hyper value-oriented game when they smelled weakness from compLexity's hand. They said, as long as we keep drawing cards, you know, they had opportunities to where they could set up lethal or even go for a 50-50 lethal with Rag that one turn, but they just kept going for value. If they just keep developing threats, eventually they're going to find a window, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people accuse Dragon Priest of being a rather simplistic deck of just playing big minions and just trying to pressure your opponent out of the game, but that was an example of being able to evaluate your strategy and pivoting. And I think, you know, realizing that even though traditionally the Reno Warlock wins in the value game because they have Jiraxis, they have big AoE swings with Shadow Flame and they can develop behind it. They have, you know, their own problematic dragons. A Twilight Drake coming down would be super be a super big problem, excuse me, if they combine it with Brand, for example. You can't really kill like a 4-13 Drake.
Sure.
They decided to play the value game and did some good hand reading. And now compLexity's in an awkward spot because they have Paladin and Warrior remaining, and no matter how much they set this up, they're going to be walking into some unfavorable matchups.
Yeah, I mean, look at that look from JJ right now. Hyper contemplative at the moment. And they're not even talking right now. They're just thinking.
Well, I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to, you know, just queue up the Paladin in this position and just hope that I can get a win against the Priest, because I think they need Warrior to clean it out. I guess maybe at the same time they can queue up Warrior and feel like Warrior has the best chance to just clean up the series here at this point. But I think what ends up happening with the logic going through compLexity's head is that Team Liquid has chosen not to ban Warrior from compLexity. And for people tuning in, still kind of new to this format, Warrior's been banned almost every single series. And for good reason. It's one of the strongest decks out there. If you leave Warrior up, it has to be because your decks are all tooled to make sure to beat Warrior, so they're trying to avoid playing it and delaying as much as they can. That could be what's going through compLexity's mind at this point.
Yeah, there's also potential that there could be something crazy coming out, but with compLexity has been one of the most predictable teams throughout the series. Not in their deck choices, but even the way they queue their decks. You know, that they opened Paladin, I think, 6 out of 7 weeks in the Trinity Series, which is pretty nuts. They sort of had a similar predictable style like G2 did. And
I mean, that's you know, confirmed by the fact that a lot of people opened up Paladins, not just compLexity, but I love the way that they were trying to mix it up. Today they opened Freeze Mage to try to catch other people's Paladins. They caught a Shaman, which is ultimately what they were happy with as well. But at the same time, compLexity's got their back against the wall. They need to win this game. Finge is an excellent start for compLexity. Team Liquid, do they have the ability to press in for the kill? Because if they get this win, all that remains is Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, right off the bat, compLexity's hand is insane. They have a Doomsayer, which is fantastic against Priest. Now, Team Liquid does have a Silence tech in.
Yeah, did they keep that Silence? I think they did.
I mean, rightfully so. That's a pretty big card, not only for Doomsayer, but also for Acolyte of Pain, which can give Priest some trouble because they're usually playing like a 2 attack and 1 attack minions in those early turns. So
sure.
Love the Silence keeping. compLexity, they had some discussion earlier. Do you think they run Silence? They sort of unanimously said probably not.
Yeah, they haven't seen it yet. That's something that Team Liquid's been keeping close to their chests. You know, even if they had the opportunity to play it, they wouldn't play it, really. There's no situation. Oh, Crusher or Operative. I think Operative seems to be the best option because the one thing that Priest has going on for them in this matchup is the fact that Operative can discover and anything can happen. One of them comes to the hand for complexity, so that's already kind of a sigh of relief. At the same time, you do need more to back it up. You need, first of all, this Finja to hit something. If Priest has a Dragonfire Potion in hand, they can actually set it up so that way no minion will ever get killed by Finja. And so they just refuse to play anything on board. And then the turn after, they play Dragonfire Potion to just clear off Finja.
Yeah, now they do have 2 Murlocs in their hand plus Finja. So if they don't draw any Murlocs and Finja's able to get that kill in, they will have all their Murlocs in the pool as early as turn 5 in this game. So they actually play the Doomsayer. A lot of times Paladins against Priest will hold on to that Doomsayer, try to be super greedy with it.
Right.
They can get punished by Shadow or Pain. It gives you more chances for your opponent to draw into Pain or Silence. But they do have plays slated for the following turn, so I think that's sort of what they're going for. Maybe waiting 1 turn so that way you try and set up an empty board for Finja. But that's not too important because sometimes you actually do want minions on the board when you play Finja to not let your opponent have a chance to react to it as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because, normally when you set up a Doomsayer, you set it up before Finja, like you said. Or you set up before Emperor, or you set up before Tyrion, like a turn 8. This is a turn 4, and the most threatening thing on turn 4 from complexity usually is like True Silver Champion, like, at least for the maximum amount of mana usage. In this case, complexity is stuck with suboptimal plays. No matter what they do, they're walking into some easy trades from Team Liquid.
Yep.
One thing is nice, though, they've seen the coin being used, so they can assume that either their opponent has another 4-mana minion to play, like they picked up with the Netherspite Historian, or they have an ability to stack on health with Talon Brace. That's kind of what screams to me about coining out the 4-mana, because coining out Dark Draconode Operative is also a really powerful thing in this matchup.
Or coining out Dragonfire Potion to deal with the Finja.
Exactly.
There's not too many keeps in complexity. A lot of time, or in Paladin, sorry, that you automatically keep. Finja is one of them. So if you look at the mulligans and you see, 2 keeps or even just 1 keep, you can kind of put your opponents on having Finja. But we have seen teams across the Trinity Series make incorrect reads based around Finja and played suboptimally because of it. So there's a fine balance there. But it won't matter too much this series because the coin has been used, so they can really play it with Reckless Spin. But let's go and listen in now to Team Liquid. A little bit of a tough turn. A few options here. Let's go and listen in.
Yeah,
I like it.
Then it's a dude killer.
Okay, that's fine. Just need to get Finja. I mean, not Finja.
There's their Finja.
No.
Alright, Operative.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So this one we got from
play
far
the left
left,
one.
far left, yeah.
This one, right?
Yes.
And
hello.
Wait.
Let's make a thinking noise.
Yeah.
A thinking face.
A thinking noise.
Let's pick it.
That's probably good.
Before we have always slow rolled.
No, on this kind of decisions we need to make thinking face. So if they try to snipe us,
yeah.
they think we
Okay.
pick something
I
bad.
see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, good. First the Pluigal trade. Then the Finja trade.
And now Tritonio?
Yeah. For sure, right? Yeah. Do the trade.
Luchara is still fine. I don't think we had to cycle immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Team Liquid's got everything going on for them. They've got ability to board control. They have anything can happen off the Draconode Operative, even to the point where they were playing coy. They're saying, maybe we should look a little desperate. Maybe we should be a little bit sad because, we didn't get the right cards.
Make a thinking noise.
Make a thinking noise.
I don't even know what a thinking noise is. I guess just...
But you have to do it really flamboyant and
Is that good enough?
That's good, man. That's good enough voice acting. It might even make the next patch.
Thank you.
Well, I would definitely pay for a TJ voice pack in Hearthstone. That should be the next that should be the next poll question. Would you pay for a TJ voice pack in Hearthstone?
Out of all of the casters, I'm probably the worst at card impressions and player impressions.
That's what makes it awesome.
You and Admirable have some pretty good impressions.
Yeah.
Admirable with cards and you with players, but me.
But it's not as good though. I mean, well, like we can kind of do it, but it's not as good as the real thing. Therefore, it comes off as a little bit forced. But it's so bad, it's ironically good. You know
So
what I mean?
bad, it's genuine. You know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I'd pay for it.
I appreciate it. But we do have a new poll up. Can anything happen?
I paid for everything in Hearthstone. So, can anything happen? Yes, and Murgle Gurgle.
Well, the hardest part about this poll, and I'm actually surprised that it's this in favor of the Murgle Gurgle.
Which is yes, by the way, in Murloc speak.
In Murloc speak, yes. It's typing out, trying to figure out. It's 5 GLGLs. If you can't, is it? Yeah, it's 5 GLGLs.
All right, so Team Liquid has Doomsayer, Acolyte, and Loot Hoarder. Doomsayer can actually set up for their own anyfin, but that's I don't know if that's actually going to happen specifically in that case. They might just pick up Loot Hoarder because it fits the curve and they can draw a little bit more. Acolyte might get them more upside as draw. It's both really close, I think. They have Netherspite Historian, so they have access to 2-mana draw, just diversifying their assets. And complexity's drawn a little dead here. At this point, they've got nothing to do, really. And this doesn't warrant a board worth using for Equality and Pyromancer yet.
Yeah, if you use that, I mean, Team Liquid is pretty much guaranteed to have some pretty solid reload. You can hold on to your weapon charge in that case, and you also get rid of that pesky Silence Doomsayer on the board, which can actually make a difference. Probably not in this matchup because Team Liquid did pick up anything, but it makes it so you don't have much room to play those Murlocs. You have one less space. But let's go and listen into compLexity and see if they're debating on that Wild Pyromancer equality.
A bit. I want to do it with Pyro equality. Equality, Pyro, and then Forbidden.
Yeah, but then we don't get so much heal as well. Then we also just get 10 heal. So why won't you do it now?
Yeah, I mean just Hero Power and Forbidden or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can leave it. Yeah, sure.
But we don't have...
What? You don't what? I think it makes sense to utilize the mana like this. I don't like floating 6 mana.
So you want to keep it after Pyro equality, but then we also just get 10 heal, right?
Yeah, I agree here. If they're good.
If you get up already, we can...
We don't need it with Brand.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Hello.
Operative.
Yeah.
We played the Little Dragon, right?
No.
If you play operative, we don't play anything else.
Play Acolyte, right? Or
we start with this anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Silver. Face.
Are you sure you don't want to play the Guardian?
Yeah.
I guess it plays.
This is a lot.
We play around Solemn.
We play around Solemn anyways. He has to clear the board for Solemn.
We go face.
We go face.
Alright.
Next turn we can like Dragon Drake through Seal face. Something like this.
Yeah.
Pyro equality, Loot Hoarder, Hero Power, right?
Yeah, I like that. You have to Pyro equality, right?
Yeah, the only thing that I'm wondering is maybe Shadow Madness, if you play around that.
Nah, we don't play up to me with the Shadow with the potion. We never saw it, right?
Yeah.
Just attack the face of this one. Yeah. This and equality.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, the secret agents, they are coming through.
We want their Murlocs to die. So if we play like this and
it has to be 3 HP minions.
But but we can Drake Nova.
No, we can't. Next turn?
No, they don't have a 4 HP.
Why don't we go True Silver, Wormrest, Acolyte? Or is that too bad?
We can play all the shitty minions.
Or True Silver, Wormrest,
also the
Acolyte, right?
1 mana one.
Yeah, and the 1 mana.
Why do we need True Silver? Are we going face?
Push face, yes.
Yeah. We don't go face. We just equip it, right?
Yes, equip it.
I think we go face.
Okay, then we go face. Yeah.
It seems sketchy to go face.
They know we have anything if we go face.
I think you play Wyrmrest, buff the Wyrmrest, and then play 1 drop and True Silver face.
I like this, this, and this.
Do that then. I think that's good.
But we don't develop
It's
much.
fine.
I don't know. And one drop then.
Wanna play it?
Yes.
I like it. They definitely have an even in hand. 100%. 90.
All right, so Dog's got the read. I mean, Nyria's been a little hesitant. He actually wanted to go face with True Silver, which makes it
It's a dead
very
giveaway.
obvious.
Yeah.
And wow, look at compLexity got double anything, which is actually kind of what they're fishing for at this point. And, you know, they have to kind of figure out how they want to weed this in. They snap play the anyfin #1, and that gives them the ability to go for 2 waves. You know, does Team Liquid have the opportunity to play their own anyfin? We have to count the damage. TJ, what's the math looking like right now?
Well, it depends on how compLexity trades this. Team Liquid didn't equip True Silver last turn, so they can't like trade into one of the war leaders to get extra burst damage. And if they just try and clear the next turn, like with Azure Drake Holy Nova, then I think they just die from the next anyfin.
Right. Assuming is it guaranteed? Like if only 2 bluegills.
Well, they'd have limited
bluegill
space on the board because Finja would be alive and there'd
Right.
be 2 war leaders. So you'd already have 1 Finja.
Okay.
So you need, best case would be 3 war leaders, 3 bluegills, which would be 24 plus the Finja. It would be lethal, yeah.
Okay. And if Liquid picks up Dragonfire Potion, so if they kill a Murloc and play their own anyfin, that's not enough damage, right? It's only 18 damage, 20 damage with the Twilight Welt, because both charged Murlocs haven't died.
Well, let's go ahead and hear how Team Liquid's math is. Let's listen to them. This is a really tough turn.
Still, Dragonfire is better than Nova.
Yeah, I think so too.
Attack face with Acolyte first, or do we want a card draw first? In case we draw, we get 2 card draws off Acolyte. Do you want 2 card draws, or do you want the damage?
We want 2 cards.
2 cards, right? All right, so
yeah.
draw off the Acolyte. Alright. Dragonfire, and maybe we get a taunt.
Wait,
maybe we get a taunt.
Yeah.
No. So True face. Just no anything, please.
Looks like they have it. They're hovering over it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wait.
Oh, it's not lethal. Oh, it is.
With Finja, yes.
So if we went with True Silver, would we win?
I think we might have, because we could True Silver down a bluegill.
Yeah, they would.
I think there was one scenario that doesn't give them lethal. If one of those bluegills was the 4th war leader, they would have had 20 damage.
Oh, wow. That could have been really unlucky.
There was one scenario out of all of them.
If you're compLexity, you have 2 or 3 cards in hand. You have to play it. And looks like the disagreement between Team Liquid ends up being the difference maker for that game. Show and Dog said, you know what, we're just going to develop a board. We're going to try to get preemptive so that way Holy Nova can set up for a first anyfin Paladin. Nyria's play actually set up a True Silver champion, which could have killed the second Murloc, given them 24 damage guaranteed, and be able to go for a counter anyfin win. And at that point, you have to kind of wonder, wow, did Team Liquid kind of fumble there?
They would have had less of a board, though. They wouldn't have developed as many minions. Like, the Acolyte of Pain would have been on the board, so they still would have only been able to kill 1 Murloc, I think. So I think either way they lose, but I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Well, they would have gone face with the True Silver champion.
And set him to, yeah.
And then they would
maybe that would have been the extra damage that they
needed. Extra damage that they needed, because they would have been a little bit off. They could have killed another Murloc, added 6 damage instead of 4. We have to evaluate the board once again, but I definitely feel like Team Liquid could have at least gotten that much closer to victory, perhaps actually even win.
Yeah, I think you're onto a point there, but you know, series is tied now, 4-4, and this is sort of where we were in the last series. He's going to break away from the pack, and it's Mage and Paladin left for Liquid, and Paladin and Warrior left for compLexity. So how do those stack up? Liquid's been avoiding playing the Mage, compLexity's been avoiding playing the Warrior. They're still a mystery for us as far as what they are. We haven't been able to pinpoint exactly what types of decks they are.
Right, but if it's Reno Mage, then I have to imagine that comes out around now. Reno Mage can deal with all the Murlocs really well. Sure, Finja brings them out, but then you polymorph the Murloc War Leaders, and it's like, well, guess what? You have 2/1 Chargers for 10 mana, and I have Ice Block. So, and Reno Jackson to follow up on it. That's, of course, how it works on paper. Maybe it doesn't actually work out in reality. If it's Temple Mage can actually just pressure anything Paladin out of the game, so that also comes into their favor. Freeze Mage, if they've been saving Freeze Mage this long as just mind games, Freeze Mage also has the ability to just one-turn kill the anything Paladin if they save up their Emperor Thorsands.
Feels
so
JJ,
either
man.
way, no matter what happens, I feel like Mage is a good pick here for Team Liquid.
I agree, yeah. You don't want to put your faith in a mirror matchup, that's for sure.
Certainly.
Well, unless you really think that their mage deck would have to be probably less than 50% favored in order for that to happen. Probably even substantially less than 50% because mirror matchups are so volatile, and a lot of times you can't rely on things like your own faith in your skill to get you through mirror matchups at times.
I do want to say that as much as sometimes people have been pegging Hearthstone in some of these games where it's like, wow, I've seen the opening hands, I know who wins. That's been happening where we feel like, oh, they've had this one crucial combo, this one crucial card. Reno Warlock has Kazakus, Jiraxis, Reno Jackson, Twilight Drake in the opening hand. This game's over. The Dragon Priest ended up winning that game. Oh, Priest discovered that anything can happen off the Operative. Priest is the one advantage just going to win this game. That didn't happen either. So I feel like a lot of the things that traditionally says, well, it's just over from this point on, it's not actually happening. It's causing a really big amount of fluctuation in the series. Both teams have had decisive leaves, and both teams are tied at this point.
They actually do go with the Paladin, so that shows you how much faith they have in the Mage deck.
I think they're saving the Mage for the Warrior. They don't want this Paladin to beat the Mage in any case, and they really want to have the Mage face the Warrior. That Mage has to have, like, triple weapon removal of some kind. Imagine if they just threw in Toxic Sewer Ooze or Bloodsail Corsair or a second Ooze on top of the hairs.
Pirate Mage.
Pirate Mage. Jaina, have you fallen so low?
Well, oh man, I forgot the Gul'dan. Oh man, I forgot the name of the Warlock hero for a second there. Gul'dan fell that low. He's starting to play patches now, but this mirror matchup for Murloc Paladin can be incredibly volatile because every Murloc contributes, to that Murloc pool. So math gets a little bit complicated. It's not as complicated as it once was because Murlocs on the other side of the board don't buff both sides of the board. Now that was changed quite a while ago. Around the time Mage of Gadgetzan came out, but it still is pretty crazy. Finja in the opening half for Team Liquid, of course, always a good sign. But
was it changed back then? I thought it was changed with the rotation of Wild.
Yeah, but it didn't really make much of a difference until Mage of Gadgetzan, I guess, when Murloc Paladin started to come back.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, let's go ahead and take a listen in now to these teams as they get through some of these early turns.
Minion, and I feel quite Finja we have like quota, but I don't know.
No, we have our own Finja,
okay.
Right?
Oh, that doesn't really work with that, but yeah. Oh. What if we just Aldor next turn? I think it's good.
Tempo Aldor.
We just need to clear the minion. I think if they play like Hero Power again, we play.
We play
this
Aldor.
guy. Oh, this guy is good late game, right? Really good late game.
Yeah, when we counter setup or something.
Yeah.
Because we keep the option with coin into anything.
Yeah, I like that argument actually a lot.
Yeah. I mean, most likely, yeah, he true silvers it, right? But
Doomsayer?
Doomsayer doesn't work.
They true silver. Yeah, Aldor is better, right? Doomsayer is good later, right? After equality.
Aldor is good. We get punished by second War Leader really badly, but then we just play the guy.
Finja, yeah.
But then they can Pyro Equality and it lives. And then we leave.
I mean, what can Barnes give us? Can give us another War Leader, another Blue Gill.
I would like to play Barnes because, if we play Blue Gill and trade, the only thing we actually gain is like the 1-3 Murloc, right? Because if he trades the 3-3 into the 1-3, we can always trade Blue Gill into it.
I also like the Barnes
and
here.
Blue Gill is with Hero Power. So.
A tale of wonder and magic. Follow the rules.
The biggest blank in the deck.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's a pretty big miss.
One thing that was happening as we passed it over to the team audio was we noticed that Team Liquid actually is playing the curator version with the Stampeding Kodo, and no wonder they were so anxious because they actually teched to win the mirror.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, of course, Stampeding Kodo turn 5 counter to Finja on the board.
I mean, not to mention that Stampeding Kodo just has natural synergy with a lot of the Paladin removal. You look at Aldo Peacekeeper, for example. Aldo Peacekeeper and Stampeding Kodo has been a vanilla Hearthstone combo, just for removal tactics.
Yeah, Control Paladin back in the day was basically just remove every single minion.
Yeah,
they
hero
had,
power.
Yeah, they hit exactly in hero power. They had, back in the day it was like Tingmaster Overspark and Aldor Peacekeeper Stampeding Kodo, because basically the game back then was just people slamming minions back to back. It was like Yeti into whatever 5-drop Druid of the Claw,
and then Paladin with Pyromancer equality play Molten Giants.
Yeah.
Some people might miss those days, but those were some really, really long games to.
Well, there was no turn timer back then as well.
Yeah, they didn't have turn timers, so there's some tournaments where like Nimsh and Monk would take 15 minutes on average per turn. It was really insane. So Team Liquid does have the Murlocs to back up Finja, can summon all of them out. But right now the Doomsayer is complicating stuff, so they could end up playing the Kodo here to eliminate the Doomsayer. Then they just clog up the rest of their mana. Let's see what they end up doing here.
Yeah, if they do that, they can still pull Murlocs out of their deck and trade into one of the minions. But let's listen in now and hear their own thoughts on the matter.
Yeah. So, Instance counts better.
We consecrate and we trade. We're not killing anything.
Yeah, we don't kill anything.
The best play is Kodo, right?
Yeah.
Or just double all the Murlocs.
Double Murloc, you have to commit 6 damage into the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we trade into the
damaged one.
Yeah, probably.
That sucks though. But they might think we have like another activator for Finja, like another Murlocs.
Yeah.
I don't know. They
Could Pyro equality
No, it's not good, right?
trade here?
Doesn't work.
Wait.
Busted.
Huh?
You have to trade into a War Leader and Pyro equality, right?
Well, I mean, you can equality then Pyro coin. But no, we'd never use the coin. I'm stupid.
Can we ever just
equality trade? No. Yeah, equality trade and Pyro Solemn. That actually plays.
Wait, what do we do?
I like equality and then trade.
Yeah, play equality and trade the War Leader, right?
Yeah, all the Finja.
Yeah.
No, the Finja.
Finja, yeah.
And then Pyro and the thing.
Oh no, this doesn't work.
Oh shit.
Just Solemn, oh man.
Yeah, just Solemn. Wait, why did I think it fit?
Hey, oh man.
Dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Crane. I mean, if you suggested it should fit.
Yeah, of course it's 1 mana off.
That was probably a throw of the game.
Yeah, we shouldn't coin then.
No, I didn't count it. I mean, if you suggested,
yeah.
I just assumed you counted it.
Yeah, I thought I did.
I thought you did too, Craig. I cry every time.
Oh,
that was a disaster to say the least.
Feels Crane, man.
I know, and this is one of the roadblocks that you hit. With team, you're just evaluating all the plays. The number one key that they want to get off was Solemn Vigil and preserve the coin because they can coin Tyrion, and they got neither of those.
Yeah.
And if they actually did pull out the Solemn Vigil, they'd kill off their own boards. So.
Yeah.
Definitely not what they wanted from compLexity. Team Liquid in the driver's seat, and they also picked up anything can happen #1. So if they commandly take the board, sometimes one anything's enough because their opponent just used a Pyromancer in equality.
They're going to get the first anything as well. So, and there's more Murlocs in the pool.
Yeah.
Because compLexity has also played a Bluegill and a War Leader.
Oh, you're right.
So, and those Murlocs count. So this anything can happen could potentially end the game. That would be 6 Murlocs, so it'd be 3 War Leaders, or 7 Murlocs and Finja. So 3 War Leaders, 3 Bluegills, which would be 24. So that's definitely realistic for a turn 10 for your opponent to be at 24. Yeah, so Forbidden Healing picked up, but while that can help you stabilize for one turn, it doesn't really get you closer to winning the game is the thing.
Yeah, and I think Team Liquid's been preparing for an Emperor turn, so they can get anything now 9.
They can Bluegill and Emperor here.
Right.
They're pushing 7 damage, bringing them down to 21, and presenting a board that's quite threatening, and they could fit in anything next turn.
Right, but then how do they counter like a Tyrion? I don't know. I guess it's still the ideal setup for it.
Tyrion, they just trade in on the board.
Oh, and then some of the Murlocs back.
And then some of the Murlocs back, and
Absolutely.
they have enough since they're pushing the 7 damage this turn.
And that should be able to deal with everything. And complexity's in such a bad spot. Let's listen to what could be the last turn here from complexity in this game.
Anything set up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot do anything about it, so.
Can we just slam the Tyrion? What is with that?
Let me
Yeah, not good enough. No, I think you have to trade Consecrate True Silver. Anything here, yeah, we can't do anything anyway.
I think the only way we win is by hoping they don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go.
All right, well, Team Liquid takes probably one of the quickest Paladin mirror matchups we've seen in a while on the Trinity Series. You can tell they definitely tech for the mirror with Kodo, Curator, allows you to get to Murlocs quicker, deal with Vinja. Didn't really need it too much there, but it helped with the Doomsayer turn, and impressive win for them.
Certainly, and now they're on match point. If they win this, they're going to face Luminosity in the winners finals and knock complexity to the losers. Which, you know, with these 4 teams being so equally matched across the board, it just feels like, you know, what really separates you guys is those small tech differences. So I got to give props to Team Liquid because complexity, like you said, TJ, does tend to bring a little bit more predictable stuff. And if Team Liquid can peg complexity on certain things, like how they outfit their anything deck, they can get the advantage. Emperor Thorsan, Stampeding Kodo, being able to get the Curator list out there. Now we're just reduced to just the Pirate Warrior or whatever warriors remain.
Oh, man.
That Complexity's been avoiding all series for some reason, which Team Liquid mysteriously didn't ban. The entire crux of the strategy of Team Liquid has come down to this next game.
The spotlight is on that Warrior deck for all those reasons that you mentioned, multiple things. Not banning it, it not being played thus far, even in favorable matchups or assumed favorable matchups. So we'll see. We're giving the players a little bit of a breather to maybe, you know, come up with strategy coming into the next match. In the meantime, we do have that Saturday night standing by with the boys of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, we've been watching this matchup really closely, and it's been super cool to see here. And there's a couple questions on my mind. I'm joined by the boys from Virtus Pro here, and get some insight on what's happening. So Priest has been a big point in this series. It's been taking a lot of games. Why do you guys think it's been doing so well, and particularly against Reno Warlock, thought to be one of its toughest matchups?
Just play minions and curve from Smork.
Just hitting them.
Smork.
Any like big key things that's going on? Have just been not the tools there early on? Has there been any particular card that's been giving them a lot of trouble? I mean, here we can see the Priest win rates across the board. It seems like it's performing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it mostly depends, like Dragon Priest against Rhinolock. Depends if Rhinolock is gonna draw AoEs. And yeah, the match which we saw, Rhinolock's, I think it had only one AoE from Kazakus, so it's not that much. And I mean, like Shadow Flame is the one which wins this game mostly. And having Twilight Drake on turn 4, also important. So yeah, basically it. The 2 win conditions, they weren't there, so yeah, the reason Rhinolock's lost.
Yeah, just the key cards missing from the matchup. I mean, it's thought to be tough, but no matchup's unwinnable except for old Control Warrior versus Freeze Mage.
But still,
there is no
you can win.
You can win, maybe. Yeah. Maybe you can win. You were playing Freeze Mage all during the Secret Paladin meta. Zero played games on Paladin during that point, from what you told me. So second question is this Warrior. It's kind of lingering at this point. We have yet to see it. There's been multiple good times for Pirate Warrior to be good. What do you guys think it is at this point?
Taunt Warrior for sure.
Taunt Warrior?
Yeah, is the thing.
It's maybe Taunt Warrior.
It could be Taunt Warrior. I mean, what would that be specifically made to beat in that spot, though?
I mean, he probably just took the best decks, and so it's supposed to be the Pirate Warrior. I just can't believe it's not going to be Pirate Warrior. Just
I mean, Smork must be the correct line of play.
So you're off the Taunt Warrior. You think there's no chance?
I think it has to be Pirates.
Yeah, it has to be Pirates.
Ghost's face is pretty.
There was
it's
a
not
Druid,
pretty.
though. They didn't queue it into Druid. I don't know. That seems crazy to me. And then just kind of thoughts on the tech that we saw in the last game there with the Paladin versus Paladin. We saw Kodo, we saw Curator, we saw Emperor Thorson. These are cards that aren't typically found in this Paladin deck. Did you guys talk to us about why those choices are there?
I mean, I didn't talk with them, but because I was pretty busy to find new strategy to win our tomorrow match. So.
Plus, get the fresh new hair.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
That's the strategy?
No, but I guess it's pretty good in the mirror, right? You have some extra card draw, and you can reduce your anything, so you can play it before the other guys. Seems pretty nice.
And Kodo just hits the Finja.
Hits Finja, yeah.
That game it hit Doomsayer, though.
Well that's also not so bad, right?
Yeah, it's just 7 damage casually for Battlecry. That's pretty good.
But it should be pretty good in the mirror, that deck, right?
It seems that way. I would certainly think so. You guys have any surprises for mirror matches? Don't give me what they are specifically. Just is there any more surprise? Anything we didn't see that is going to be a big factor?
Yeah. We'll see tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, I think it's going to wrap us up for here just about now, and it looks like casters are ready. TJ and Dan are standing by. Conclusion of this match, and today, two more days ago after this one, though. Let's start over to the desk.
Great job, Admirable.
Great job, Admirable.
You got through it, dude. You know what? It's always fun. You know, and big shout out to Virtus Pro because they're really trying to speak English and connect to the Western audience because they're obviously not their first language, and Dr. Hippie and Naaman often talk to each other in Russian to communicate stuff. But all things considering, I think their attitudes are rather upbeat for a team that just lost like a couple hours ago in what is a very cutthroat double elimination bracket. Remember, guys, $150,000 on the line. And these guys are choosing to dye their hair in their off time. So let us know what you guys think of Dr. Hippie's new hair. Is it Kappa or Kappa Pride? I was told it was PogChamp versus Craigasm, but I'll accept that as well.
Nope, Kappa versus Kappa Pride.
Yeah, very clearly biased towards one type of thing. But
throw them up in chat.
Well, the Kappas are winning. I don't believe that at all. All right, production is trolling at this point.
All right, well, it takes a second for the poll to kick in.
I don't believe this number at all. No, they're definitely
rigged.
It's super rigged.
It's rigged.
Fake polls.
Fake polls.
Or here's an alternative fact: only Kappas are being spammed right now. Not even a single golden one.
I'm looking at the chat right now, and I see that there's Kappa Prides going up and down.
I see a lot of color. I see a lot of color in the chat. Big shout out to everyone who's been engaged so far. Hope you guys have been enjoying the stream. This is our last match of the day. So after this best of 11 concludes, we're going to find out who's going to be in the winners and who's going to be the losers. I think tomorrow we're going to actually do the winners match, right, and one losers.
One winner, one loser, and then on Saturday it's the lower bracket finals. And then the grand finals. And sort of the disadvantage for the team coming for losers is not a pure grand final. You don't have to win 2 best of 11s in a row to win the grand finals. Is that they have to play 2 best of 11 series in a day, which is incredibly exhausting. So getting into that winners match and winning through to get to the finals is a big deal because that means you don't have to play twice on the final day. And it means that you get that whole time to watch the match, scout your opponents, maybe find some weaknesses to exploit.
That's right. So make sure to tune back in tomorrow and on Saturday, the 18th, to find out who is going to win. And, of course, participate in more polls, rigged or not. I don't find it a coincidence. We have people from the Russian-speaking community from Ukraine and Kazakhstan. All of a sudden, our polls are being rigged. A little weird. I call for an investigation, TJ.
Well, we'll have a full-scale investigation on the production room tomorrow. But hopefully, today we were a little light with the polls. We're going to get even crazier with them as the weekend goes on. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But we're still waiting. We gave the players a little break. It's been a long series for them.
Yeah,
so we're waiting on one player to get back and sit down.
Show is still in the bathroom right now.
Yeah. We'll see. But it is 2 games max left in this series. Team Liquid currently has a 5-4 lead. And this next match is going to be Paladin versus Warrior. The class is already slated. And compLexity, they've been holding on this Warrior for a long time. They got to win the last 2 games with this.
Yeah,
to win out and win the series.
sorry, TJ. For people who kind of tuned in a little bit later into the series and not sure what's happening, we started off with Freeze Mage from compLexity against Team Liquid. We mentioned that compLexity is one of the more predictable teams in this top 4, perhaps in the entire league, but they did mix it up. And I love that mix-up. Bringing Freeze Mage, trying to catch Anyfin Paladins, who's also been historically starting a lot of series. They caught the Jade Shaman, which is still ultimately very good for them, gave them the advantage. But then Liquid got into the Jade Druid train, being able to win an unfavorable against Jade Shaman. And then compLexity defied the odds by beating Reno Lock against Dragon Priest. And then Team Liquid struck back with their own Dragon Priest, and now we have Anyfin Paladin trading. So that's kind of been what's been happening. It's been the story of the Priests and the Paladins in the second half of the series. And remember that Team Liquid's also playing the Curator version of that Paladin, which has Emperor Thorsan and Stampeding Kodo. Is that any good against the Pirate Warrior, you think? Or do you think that just doesn't matter because you die by the time you can play Curator?
It depends what you sacrifice to put those in. What it is probably heals, to be honest. It's probably heals or draw.
Right.
Whether it be loot hoarders or whether it be forbidden healing. So it's hard to say which one of those are more important in the grand scheme of things.
Well, hey, they got Doomsayer.
They got Doomsayer in the opening hand. That's a start. Now, with the coin, Warriors can deal with the turn 2 Doomsayer, which is crazy. Not so much anymore, considering a lot of decks have cut small-time Buccaneer. A lot of the turn 2 Doomsayer kills were on the back of a small-time Buccaneer. But it's definitely still a possibility.
Right. The big thing, too, is Liquid has a follow-up to that Doomsayer, so they're not just hero powering. And compLexity, because if they played Nazav's first mate, would end up just killing off that and restarting their tempo. Looks like they're just 4-keeping. Just saying, this hand's good enough. And if they run into a Doomsayer with Acolyte and True Silver, I'm not saying that the Paladin's going to win this game, but I'm saying that they have a really good chance.
Really good chance, but... Oh! We have another meta report poll. Who's favorite, Paladin or Patches? Who's really in charge?
Patches is in charge for now, but unless compLexity picks up Heroic Strike, they're not going to deal with that Doomsayer. Ooh, Warrior's even better than Acolyte because the challenge is on the board. And, you know, the Pirate Warrior doesn't have a way to deal with it right now. Fire War Axe isn't enough.
Yeah.
So what they could end up doing as a Pirate Warrior is equipping the Fire War Axe preemptively to try to upgrade it for the following turns. Or sorry, play Nazav's first mate, then Fire War Axe as you have to layer things out as time goes on. But something that you have to weigh, but doesn't look like they're gonna even try to bother with that right now. Just go face with everything.
Yeah, looks like they're gonna equip Fire War Axe, which is a little bit interesting to me because they have to override it with Nazav's first mate in order to activate Bloodstone Cultist. But alas, let's go ahead and listen in now to Team Liquid as we see, hey, it turns out Patches is favored.
Develop 2 minions here.
They can't. Oh, they can actually. I'll see in the other girl.
The best play is like playing 3-drop now and then like...
Deckhand into the girl.
Or the 3-3 into girl. The Corsair. Oh, deckhand, girl, Corsair.
Yeah. Oh, Corsair, yeah, wow.
Play attack with the Vorax and play Ensof and Cultist. When you can play the Corsair, right?
So we cork on his face and trade the weapon into the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
It's coin Corcoran.
Coin Corcoran, that's fine.
So it
we have
19.
Into that.
We have the face tank. Feels bad, man.
Yeah,
okay,
19.
so we need Bluegill?
Oh, okay.
So we need the Bluegill left.
If we get Bluegill, we win almost no matter what. Almost.
Bluegill or the 2-2 with bubble.
Oh yeah, Wicker Flame.
Wicker Flame, yeah.
Wicker Flame, Burn Bristle. Or Ooze.
Oh, Ooze, yeah. We have a lot of top decks.
Team Liquid seems really peppy right now, being able to pick up Forbidden Healing to pick up that damage. They're even talking about their outs to just immediately win the game. And I gotta agree, that hand with the Emperor that leads into Tyrion, if they can just survive early enough to make sure they don't just get outright overwhelmed, compLexity's gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
That's a big if. I mean, Pirate Warrior's got a ton of damage.
That Bathroom Break really gave him a huge burst of energy.
Yeah. I thought that they were, trying to get the nerves out of their system, but seemed like maybe they've found out the secret of making this deck win, which is getting the Doomsayer and being able to pair everything up accordingly.
Yeah.
Remember, don't forget, the very first opening day of the Trinity Series, Alliance got swept by Anyfin Paladin, when G2, you know, piloted by Tice, just went 6-0 against them. That was the first series of the tournament. Everyone was kind of laughing because it's like, Paladin's pretty bad. Why'd you lose? Sometimes Anyfin Paladin just can destroy all the aggressive decks by having the ideal hand.
Yeah. Now, this is still a rough situation for Liquid if we look at both hands. Now, from their perspective, it seems okay. But that weapon is going to get in a lot of damage, especially with double Naga Corsair. You're going to be able to bump that up to 3 attack, and then so it'll be a 3/3 and then a 4/2 weapon. That's a ton of damage coming at them, and I don't know if they have enough time to get to Tyrion. They can start chipping away on the board, but
Forbidden Healing is certainly helpful.
It's helpful, but the thing about Forbidden Healing is it doesn't develop anything or kill anything. It just heals. So you're just buying time for a stronger play on the following turn, and I don't know if that's necessarily good enough.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, you're absolutely right that it's not over or decided by any means. And compLexity does have that Naga Corsair, which lines up super juicy with everything else. If they had another 2-mana minion, you'd probably could make a case for the Frothing Berserker now that True Silver is being used. But Naga Corsair seems really nice, considering your it's the most mana efficient play that you have, and you can upgrade that weapon. But we'll see. Let's go ahead and listen to compLexity because it looks like they're debating exactly that right now.
I think we just Naga and then double trade.
Naga and one trade, do we double trade? Yeah. I mean, equality, are we afraid of it?
I mean, yeah, I think we should just go face with the hook, maybe. I mean, what is it?
We keep the Corsair alive, right? We wanna...
Yeah, but what if he has Emperor? And we wanna have the face damage, right?
So maybe we trade the 1/1s and play Corsair and go face?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can't let them get the Emperor off into 7-drop, right? It's too much.
I like bump Consecrate.
We can't play this though.
Then next turn we can Forbidden. And then we Tyrion.
Yeah,
So we heal for 14.
We can never play Emperor here, right?
No, right?
They need 6 from hand and have 4
Yeah,
cards.
it's not worth.
Yeah, I guess Conk.
So it's either Conk or healing.
If we heal now, we have no follow-up.
We don't heal now, right? We have to clear the 5 damage. I guess that was an Aldor target.
Yeah.
That was a merit for Aldor, yeah.
Yeah.
So we could have like Aldor Forbidden Healing or something?
Yeah. Or Aldor Boar Leader.
Yeah.
But we would have played
No,
War
we
Leader
would've
yesterday.
War Leader.
Or yeah, last.
Seeing the Arcanite Reaper sets up lethal, but...
I would like to play minions here.
Yeah. Well, we can only play one, but...
Yeah, I think maybe the Corcoran is better. But it's, again, Consecration. I mean... I like the Naga still, I think.
I like the Naga as well, more. It's also like Consecrate, even, second Consecrate.
If you are Arcanite Ripper, it's only Forbidden Healing, right?
No, also a second 2 silver.
Okay.
Burn Bristle. Yeah. I would just play Naga and go face, I think.
Yeah.
And also Corcoran go face. But
I think this is better.
Yeah, sure.
4/3 weapon. That's pretty good.
You know, it's the fact that Team Liquid can't really stabilize onto the board. And, oh man, Doomsayer, if they were able to get that with the Consecration last turn, wouldn't have ended up working out with the Naga Corsair coming out. Instead, Team Liquid, they were planning for a heal to go up to 24 health, but they're not developing anything onto the board. Does that buy them enough time for Doomsayer to go off? They could pair it together. Doomsayer can gain, you know, hypothetically up to 7 health, and then Forbidden Healing can gain them 10 health, and then hope that Tyrion can carry it all the way home. And that's exactly what's going to happen. compLexity does have some burst damage right now. They've got 9 on the board, plus a Corcoran Elite, plus a Heroic Strike. So they've got 18 damage total this turn.
Yeah.
If they play Arcanite Reaper, no, they can't. Corcoran Elite.
17 damage?
Yeah, 17. Apologies.
Well, I think here they just want to develop a board. Frothing Berserker, Cork and Elite, kill a Doomsayer, and hit for 5. Just play an AoE, but you've seen the Consecration come from the hand, and...
Well, this is very clearly setting up for an 8-mana minion. Tyrion or Rag Lightlord would be super problematic. So I think they might be fighting back for the board here in this position.
My blade be thirsty.
Make the best board for them possible.
That's a lot of pressure. Plus burst from hand. I don't even know if Tyrion's going to be enough. The Frothing Berserker, almost the Frothing Berserker alone is going to be enough to get through that Tyrion and push additional damage.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that's not going to be enough. You punch the Divine Shield with that.
Punch the Divine Shield with the 4/3. Frothing Berserker goes up to 6.
Goes up to 5, actually. Divine Shield isn't.
Oh, yeah. It goes up to 5.
It's actually really annoying. The Divine Shield means everything.
Heroic Strike through the Tyrion. Frothing Berserker goes up to 6. There's 11 damage on board.
Yeah, Tyrion keeps you alive, I think, based off what we see.
Keeps you alive, but does it get you closer to winning the game? Not really. It just buys you like an additional turn.
Well, what other alternative play gets you closer to winning the game?
Nothing. Trade Solemn Vigil. Hope your next 2 cards are Wild Pyromancer quality.
Yeah, way too optimistic, I think.
Yeah.
So Team Liquid just puts their faith in Tyrion, and compLexity needs to just draw a little bit extra damage, a little oomph. Double Heroic Strike. Oh, wait, there has to be something here, right?
I don't think so. There's no lethal.
Yeah, the Frothing Berserker only gets +1 when a Divine Shield minion gets traded into a minion, because it doesn't technically damage a minion.
Yeah. It's not lethal, but it does push a ton of damage.
I mean, a ton is like a vague term right now, and every single damage really matters. Specifically, it pushes 11 to the 11 to face right now, and they can't swing again with the weapon. They equip a Arcanite Reaper, making them susceptible to news of some kind, but it might not matter because the board is what's really carrying the Pirate Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think there's any outs here. Anything's not going to summon. Well, they can't even play it, so
yeah,
they're going to dig, but it looks like that's going to be game.
Is it important to trade the minion in to discount Solemn Vigil? If they have Wickerfame Burn Bristle and they have Equality as the next 2 cards, I think that saves them.
You're right.
No, I think they need to keep the 1/1 for Equality and Burn Bristle. I think that's exact. Oh, they don't have enough mana
for Burn Bristle.
Oh, you're right. All right, that's it.
That's not enough.
Good try, good try. Team Liquid had a really good hand, and the Pirate Warrior still is able to push it out. Just to go to show you why teams are banning this deck. And Team Liquid has chosen their poison of not banning Warrior. Will it end up biting them in game number 11?
compLexity, it looks like nothing fancy in this deck. They were just saving it as their ace deck. They were saving it as the deck that was just going to close out the series for them.
It makes sense.
They're saying, hey, Liquid, you guys probably should have banned this.
Well, I think so. There's two trains of logic when you have last year standing and such a powerhouse deck like Pirate Warrior that's not banned. The first is to play it early so you can get the most wins against the most decks, because it wants to be a heavy lifter. The alternative is that compLexity tried to drain Team Liquid of every counter deck that they think exists. So they say, okay, maybe their Reno Warlocks teched against it, maybe their Druids teched against it, maybe their Priest or their Shamans teched against it. So they're just trying to eliminate every single possibility of their Pirate Warrior to get hard countered. And maybe this is what Team Liquid's been refusing play Mage because they have a specific Pirate Warrior in mind. I'd be shocked if Team Liquid did not have a good answer to Pirate Warrior in that Mage. They've had so many opportunities to queue Mage into other matchups. It's been their plan all along. It almost feels it feels like it's injustice to the entire series to say it's boiled down to this Mage versus Warrior, but it's almost been a long time coming. And the entire series hinges upon that.
It could be it. If you were to craft a Mage deck that was specifically tailored to beat a Warrior deck, what would that include? Would it be just a low curve Reno Mage?
Yeah, so specifically, you have a lot of early anti-aggro early game threats. You know, you make sure you have the mixtures. You make sure that you have the weapon removals. But maybe you layer them. Maybe you have Ooze and Harrison, for example. Maybe you put second-rate Bruiser in your Reno Mage. Maybe you put more taunts like Senjin Shieldmaster instead of the Water Elemental. Well, maybe you play both because Water Elemental is super sick against Pirate Warrior. You know, and make sure you cut out the top end. You're not playing Pyroblast. You're not playing Archmage Antonidas.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really need that in your deck if you're just going to target Pirate Warriors.
Well, only time will tell, I suppose. And Team Liquid looks like they're ready to queue up their decks. Let's get into it. Final game, game number 11.
Oh, boy. And it looks like they went for a hard mulligan already. And they only have Arcane Blast. This is looking bad for Team Liquid. compLexity doesn't have the ideal opening hand, but they have Sir Finley Murgleton, which can get them really powerful hero power, such as Life Tap or Steady Shot.
This still could be anything from Team Liquid. It still could be Reno. It still could be Tempo. All of those cards are found in both.
I'm pretty sure it's a Reno Mage, though, because I think I heard Team Liquid kind of mouth that they want Doomsayer mulligan.
A full mulligan a lot of time indicates that as well. You know, a lot of times Tempo Mage with the low curve, especially on the coin, you'll find at least one keep.
Yeah, it would be extremely surprising if Tempo Mage ran Doomsayer. And that's not exactly the fastest opening for compLexity. They really need a 2-mana hero power that can carry them, so Life Tap or Steady Shot is the key.
Life Tap's pretty good.
Life Tap is it. Life Tap is really strong. I mean, the reason why is because Life Tap all of a sudden extends the aggressive deck's range a lot. So people might be wondering why Life Tap might be so good. It's like, well, you're giving control deck time to respond, right? But it's the fact that a lot of times the biggest weakness of aggro decks in general is that they run out of steam. They run out of cards, and then your card for card that they play on average is much stronger. That's not going to be really the case with Life Tap available to them. Now it changes because they picked up the Pirates, because now they can play South Sea Captain into that big board.
One of the Pirates will be able to be eliminated, and Liquid does have removal next turn for South Sea Captain, but it's all about pushing that damage. Let's go listen in now to Team Liquid as they try and formulate a plan with a pretty rough hand.
Trust the Pirate's code.
Taking a lot of damage.
Just draw Reno on 6 and we're Gucci.
Good.
So we just...
Last ping.
Yeah. They will play like a 5-4.
And then what? We Ice Lance ping?
Like, we want Water Elemental here. Be really good.
And we're just gonna have to coin out our Emperor, right? That's the play.
Fireball is the best.
To this.
Yeah.
Scuttle the ship.
Yeah. Trade though.
Yeah, but then if they play, whenever they play like Reaper, we just mirror image.
Okay. So is that the play?
Yeah.
Then we get this into this.
Yeah, seems good.
That's pretty good actually. If we draw Reno, we should win.
If we survive.
If we survive. Yeah, that's a lot of power.
I mean, we can tap and play the Raider instead of the Elite, if we want to. Yes, the Corcoran is not much hard, like it's same health, right? I think we should
The only question is, can we kill him before turn 6?
No. Yeah, they have still a coin, right? You want to make a heavy board now. I think the tap is also...
I'd like to tap here.
Yeah. I would also tap. Oh wow. Yeah, just play the Pirates now.
Yeah, these two.
Yeah, just play this first. When you play the Raider, this one, yeah.
This
attack phase.
Yeah, exactly.
Then kill the mana of him.
Yeah, I like this.
Gives us just,
Yeah.
They don't want a Reno here.
Oh man, yeah, this is not looking good for Team Liquid. Not able to find Reno. They do have Mirror Image, which you can see the low curve Reno mage that we talked about with Mana Worm and Mirror Image in a Reno Warlock, which you don't really see too often.
Wow, so look at this. They have Mirror Image and Doomsayer, which actually can get answered by compLexity because they have Heroic Strike and Core Crown Elite, but that goes into Flame Strike. And then maybe compLexity has an out there, but then, oh sorry, maybe Team Liquid has an out there, but compLexity has Life Tap, and Life Tap is what really gives so much fuel to that aggro deck, because normally without Life Tap, there's Warrior hero powering, and then they're out of cards, and then you have Emperor, Drake, Antonidas against South Sea Captain and South Sea Deckhand.
But look how much damage they have to sacrifice in order to get through this Doomsayer.
So you think they go face?
Well,
Or you think they Life Tap the
I don't think they necessarily go face. I just feel like, I'm just saying it as an observation, like they have Life Tap, but they have to sink so much damage if they want to protect their board. So will it be enough? If they give Team Liquid a turn of development, then they're probably not going to win. So they kind of have to protect their board and hope the AoE isn't there.
Oh, you know what? Something that they didn't account for was the South Sea Captain. I actually forgot about the Naga Crusader buff there. And ends up making Flame Strike a little bit worse. A lot worse, actually. You're going to take 5 damage still from it. But still, with Team Liquid, they definitely will take this. The Flame Strike clears a lot of the board, and compLexity does not have that lethal setup. And every turn that they can stall for potential Reno is getting them closer to winning the game.
Yeah, we have the vote up now. Who's going to win this game, compLexity or Team Liquid? Type either compLexity or Liquid in chat. See if you can vote. I don't really know at this point. I'm leaning towards Liquid myself, but if they don't pick up Reno, they're in trouble.
I'm leaning towards compLexity. I think compLexity's got a lot of range with that Life Tap, and they're not under threat anytime soon. Let's go ahead and listen in and see what these teams are debating as you're coming up on what could be the last few turns of this game.
Crossbow ping, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we draw Ice Block next turn. We have one more draw for it. And then Ice Block into Alex. Alright, we're not dead yet.
Pitch face, or what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, has to be, right?
Yeah.
My blade be thirsty. My blade be thirsty.
Go on, Casino. Oh, they drew it, right? I just hear the casters.
We're still not out of the woods. The Dr. Doom turn works.
They don't have a way to clear the arena efficiently. It has to be like upgrade Reaper.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We'll have a shot, guys.
We play these two. Trade it, right? Or do we just play these two and just ignore it?
Yeah, these two and go face, or we can also play...
I would just play the minions and go face.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what can he do?
For the war chief!
Or to the face.
Blood and plunder.
Go face. They have no flame strike, right?
Yeah.
Potion. Not really.
Shadow Flame?
Well, Cunning Potion would be great if you had 1 more mana.
Drake into Volcanic is okay-ish.
We leave, like, giant on the
One
board.
frothing, yeah. Big boy frothing.
Come on, give us something good.
Blizzard, I guess, right? That's the best.
That's decent, right?
We play it, right?
Yeah, on the 3-3.
On the 3-3, yeah, and then bump there, right?
Doomguard.
Leroy?
Earth
Doomguard. Call it.
Doomguard.
Doomguard?
Earth Elemental.
Bomb Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In face. They have 9, they need 12. 12 is unlikely.
Yeah, we have this.
Yeah, we should be good.
What is this? 9, 18.
Let's tap.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
So equip the Reaper, right?
I'd like to also play the Corsair.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I'd like to trade actually.
Sort of Alex.
9. Just make, I mean, let's trade this one, and we can think about that one.
Yeah.
We only lose 2 damage, but we take out this guy, right? I think we should do it.
I think we should trade both weapon and the Kokon.
What now?
And play cultists.
It's better against Alex, right? They will run Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, do that.
Going face sets up. Yeah, I like to trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better, right?
I like it.
Otherwise, we lose against Alex Strasser instantly.
Yeah, I'll just.
I don't know.
Intellect, right?
Yeah, Ice Block.
Ice Block's okay. We have to.
Ice Block Polymorph is the best.
Torch Ping.
We cannot clear, no. We can only clear frauding.
Yeah, it's only Torch Ping.
We don't play this? No, there's no reason to, right?
There is no reason to. That sucks.
Okay.
They need 5 damage, it's hard.
It's not that hard. They're like really.
It's only Leroy.
Yeah, but they get 2 cards.
Yeah.
Alright, Torch Ping?
Yeah. Ice Block, we need Ice Block next turn.
Oh no, it's 1 off.
It's game. Oh no, it's game.
Yes!
Oh!
Yes!
Oh!
Well, that was intense.
That's a pop I've ever seen one. Man.
Yeah.
You can see the relief in complexity's faces.
Or the fear from Yagut and Crane.
Yeah, I mean, they're relatively tame guys, but
Yeah.
JJ couldn't really contain his excitement. And you gotta wonder, you know, Complexity chose not to ban the Pirate Warrior because they knew that their decks were teched against it, but they didn't even full tech. They have Antonitis, which I was talking about, you know. Do you actually include it in your list? Because you need to win other games besides Pirate Warrior, because it's a format where it last year standing, so you have to play multiple games. You know, I gotta wonder, man, did they underestimate that deck? Did they think that their strategy was foolproof?
Pirate Warrior's good. It's real good.
Yeah, it is the top tier deck right now based off the win rates. It's been warranting bans across the entire tournament so far. Warrior and Rogue are the 2 bans. Team Liquid chose to ban Druid instead, and Complexity escapes with a narrow victory, 6-5. Now, Team Liquid's not eliminated yet. They do fall to a lower bracket, and they'll be playing tomorrow. Complexity will play Luminosity in the winners finals. But again, you know, it's something to think about for day number 2 for both teams here. You know, what is Team Liquid going to do with the strategy? Are they going to still stick to ban Druid, or are they going to pivot to maybe ban Warrior?
Well, that is an upset on paper. Team Liquid coming in as the 1st seed in 1st place in the regular season. Complexity coming in as the 4 seed. They barely qualified, made it through tiebreakers. They actually had lower than a 50% win rate across the Trinity Series, but still made it through. So definitely a big win for Complexity. And yeah, again, you know, like you said, maybe back to the drawing board for Team Liquid as far as their strategy goes. They don't get to change deck lists or do anything fancy in between for their matches tomorrow.
Certainly.
So I don't know if that was their strategy going in or if they made a pivot, seeing Complexity's lineup. But you know, one thing's for certain is they got to come up with something different for Virtus Pro if they think that that was a glaring weakness in their strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening with if Team Liquid ends up keeping that tomorrow. But remember, they're not allowed to change any deck lists. So once you locked in week to week in the regular season, they were allowed to change deck lists. Of course, they weren't confined to just the same. Not going to be the case. If you wanted to, you know, even though there's a lot of Team Liquid fans and obviously people were voting for them in the chat, you can't necessarily be too disappointed. They went to the game 11. It was definitely down to the wire. Team Liquid even got the Reno Jackson, right on time when they're like, okay, we need Reno or we're going to die here. But it wasn't enough because the Pirate Warrior had access to life tap. And that's one of the big things. People are talking about like how Pirate Warrior doesn't lose that much in rotation. And it's true, Pirates do stick around. But one thing that is very valuable at losing is Sir Finley Murgleton. He does enable a lot of these aggressive decks to be viable in the first place.
Yeah.
Warrior with just a tank up hero power or armor up hero power, it's nothing compared to life tap.
They would have
one
gotten
of the strongest
crushed.
hero powers in the game.
They would have gotten crushed in that series if they had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warrior hero power. So
they would just instead of Finley, they would have ran another aggressive card of some kind, whether a 1-drop or another 2-drop, perhaps, because that's where the deck lacks the most amount of substance. But with Sir Finley Murgleton being in there and now potentially being rotated out in just a month or so, maybe that's where a lot of people can find comfort, because that is one of the big reasons why Pirate Warrior can find wins, despite the fact that control decks have answers.
Yeah. So as we wait to get a few words with compLexity, let's sort of getting a preview, guys. Tomorrow, the winners match is going to be compLexity versus Luminosity. The lower bracket match, Team Liquid versus Virtus Pro. But we are ready with That's Admirable over at Trinity tonight, who's got some few words with our winners.
Thanks. Trinity tonight with the winners, a grueling 11-game set. And it was Pirates after all! You almost had all of us tricked.
They just got nerfed, right? Can't beat Pirates.
Well, everyone was really curious about it because the Druid matchup came about. You guys didn't play the Warrior then. We were all thinking it was something different. Was there a plan to not queuing up Pirates in that situation, or what was the thinking behind saving it for the anchor?
It's just not that incredibly favored, like Shaman and Priest.
And we didn't also know which mage it is.
Yeah, we thought it's like Freeze Mage in the beginning, but turned out it's Reno Mage.
Because we need to have a deck open which is actually good against Freeze Mage, if I have it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. I'm glad we could get some of the thinking there. I mean, Mage is one of the widest archetypes right now in terms of what it could be. I think it was cool to see, but at the end there, I mean, come on, Reno hits, and you decide to play around the Alex as well. I mean, that's just such a beautiful series. What are the key moments in that last game that you think that really brought it together?
I think we actually, in the beginning, we wanted to mulligan the Surf and Leo away, but we also thought about Reno Mage, and Reno Mage is one of the reasons to keep Surf and Leo because of the life tap. It just changes the matchup.
Do you feel a steady shot is just as good in a lot of situations there, or is
Yeah,
life
it's
tap
also
the
not
miracle
bad,
one?
but life tap is probably better. Yeah.
What do you think, JJ?
Yeah, the life tap is insane there, of course, because suddenly you have a burst potential of almost always 15 damage, because you can just draw, you get your heroic strikes, your Arcanite Reapers, draw more minions, and at some point they just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, and then the Priest is just pulling weight for both teams in this series. Each team won with Priest versus Warlock. That's typically thought of one of its worst matchups. Crane, what do you think was causing Priest to just snowball the games and crush from there?
Well, for us, I mean, we just went face, and we kind of felt that they didn't have the Shadow Flame, given how they played the turn with the Giant, and we just kept going face. And when it was the opposite side, we kind of couldn't get a foothold on the board, and they had like all the cycle, and we didn't get Reno. So it's different reasons, but the Warlock needs to have some answers to the aggressive board. So
to just smork them down with Priest, that's the key to it. Just turn it into an aggressive deck. I mean, that seems to be the key for everything, is if you can just keep on attacking.
You gotta play your hand though, but we had a hand which was like that, so we did it. I mean, we didn't have any sort of like cleric into mass heal and get all the cards. They did that, so they went for that plan, and worked out for them.
What are some other standout points for you guys in this match? I mean, because obviously when it goes to 11 games, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening. I mean, this was a couple hours of play for you guys. Do you feel like you're fatiguing at all? Like, is there anything that just really stood out to you as intricate situations?
Yeah, the Paladin throw or what? Yeah. It's just something, we will keep it in mind also for tomorrow. But what stands out is just like, also in these situations, we keep calm. I mean, he miscounted whatever. I mean, it's just about you should never start offending your team or getting upset against each other. It's just, you should be like one. Yeah, you should just work together as one. And then it's like working well and you're not tilting. And because we were able to reverse then with the Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can win, you gotta play your best. You can't play your best if you're like thinking about stuff that happened before or something. You gotta play. As soon as the game started, we were just 100% focused on that. So.
I think it's been cool to watch. You guys very early on had a different form of communication, and it's been wonderful to watch it evolve. Congratulations on your win, and good luck tomorrow in your matches. So that's going to wrap up this over here. Let's throw it over to TJ. Close us out.
That's right, everybody. I'm over here at the Trinity Arena. It's been a fun day number 1 for the Trinity Series. We've seen some upsets. We've seen some crazy things happen in the matches today. The stage is set for day number 2, where one team will be eliminated from the Trinity Series finals as we set up for day number 3. But we'll return tomorrow, same time, same place for more Trinity Series action, so don't miss it, guys.